Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. It is Thursday, January 5th, 2023, and we are here today in episode 93, I think, of the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. If I'm not mistaken, episode 93. I'm your host, Simon Grunewald, here as always with my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. How's it going, boys?
It's going good. I mean, I'm a little nervous for the show, to be completely honest with you, Simon.
What's up? How come?
Well, recently I was able to acquire a cappuccino maker and a milk frother, and I'm just a little nervous that I might be a higher class now than you guys, with your tea and your juice. I'm wondering if we're going to be able to jive with me kind of being the upper tier of society now.
Wow.
With my cappuccino.
You know what?
I think
that's a fair thing to worry about, Coop. But I will let you know, two members of my family have Nespresso machines. Not me, but that might just grandfather me into this conversation.
Ooh, so now we kind of have to worry about JL and whether he's kind of up to snuff. And Maria in the chat already saying,
I am not.
You're not. So you're not up to speed. You don't have some sort of you can't get some sort of high level juicer to up your juice game to a similar level that might be on.
Nope. I just go straight to store bought.
Straight store bought juice only.
Yeah.
We got some people in the chat ready for this morning as well, guys. Jolly Rancher in here saying egg sandwich. And Tommy said, yo, time for the show. What's up, Tommy? Welcome in. We got Maria in the YouTube chat saying, wow, a real concern from Coop. Yeah, it's a real concern this morning. And Dave in here said, good morning, Goofies and Simon. What's up, Dave?
Let's go, baby. And Jolly Rancher with the egg. Honestly, the egg sandwich move it's a higher level move than even the cappuccino. Even I have the stovetop one, so you kind of have to pull it yourself. It's pretty it's a pretty tedious process, but the egg sandwich this early in the morning, that's a power move. That's making a monster statement that you're up early, you're ready to party, you're going to have a big day today. So I'm loving that move. I'm loving the egg Sammy move. What else? What are the rest of you guys having for breakfast? Let me know.
With the egg sandwich, I saw a video the other day that so accurately represented how I feel about egg sandwiches. It showed 2 eggs on a piece of bread, and it was not nearly enough egg. And then it showed 3 eggs on a piece of bread, and it was there's never been more egg in any sandwich ever known to man. Somewhere between 2 and 3 eggs is the perfect amount of egg for an egg sandwich.
Yeah. It's a tricky game, the egg sandwich game, but when it's done just right, Trey Bone.
David here saying, I used to sell Nespresso machines at Costco while giving out coffee samples. Not fun.
Oh man, I would have just hit up that sample cart so many times.
Yeah.
I would have been a menace to you, Dave.
Yeah. Imagine, but working that, I would just be sneaking them all day. By the end of the day, I would have just been like, are you buying a machine or what? You know what I mean? Just grabbing people by the shirt collar, just
just going ham. Just your coffee, just energy.
Just tweaking. Just
I think I told you guys about, I was at this cooking store, and they had a espresso machine section, and Leanne was like, oh, I'm gonna go get a sample of it. And she walks up, and there's a guy standing there. He's like, oh, have you guys tried this? And I've seen him already get 2 samples from there. And as we walk up, he gets a 3rd one. He's like, yeah, I'd never had espresso before. And then as we walk away, he gets a 4th one. And then before we left the store, I watched him have another one. So in a 10-15 minute period, I watched this man have 5 shots of espresso. I was thinking, oh, you're gonna have a really fun like next 30 minutes, and then you're gonna be sad. You're gonna be really sad.
Really sad, dude. And then probably up late watching until the very end of YouTube. That's what happens to me if I have too much.
Very trying to get to the bottom of YouTube.
Yeah, I see if I can find where the sidewalk ends, dude. And you know where I do end up typically on those? Did you ever watch like shows where people just go and just like watch other people cook food quietly in other parts of the world? I think that's my favorite part of YouTube. Like people that just go to like crazy Japanese steakhouses and just watch them cook. Like
my favorite is
that's my happy place.
Mongolian throat singing.
Stop it.
That's where I end up on YouTube.
Why don't you? I know we can't play a clip right now for copyright purposes, so why don't you go ahead and give us
Whoa. Kind of sounds like that.
Ooh,
it's fantastic.
Like that sounds like easy listening for bedtime.
Oh yeah, look it up. It's delightful.
Yeah, I like that, dude. Maria says a Shel Silverstein quote. Love Shel Silverstein. Love Shel. My childhood was based on 3 things: Shel Silverstein, Calvin and Hobbes, and Hey Arnold. That's how I learned everything I know. And I think what my parents and Auntie Coopy might have taught me 1 or 2 things, but most things I learned were directly from that.
Most of those 3 items.
Mostly those 3. Yeah.
Jail, if you had to distill your childhood down to 3 things, what would it be?
Pokemon, Scooby-Doo. Oh, and Fairly Odd Parents.
There you go.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
That feels like the last one shoved in there. It feels like there's probably a better option.
But for answering that quickly, I'll take it. What's the biggest lesson you learned from Pokemon?
You got to catch them all.
You got to catch them all, yeah.
Don't
die.
And to be the champion like no one's ever been. Or
yeah,
I always mess that quote up. What is it?
You gotta be the very best. That's how it goes.
Dave said incredible, JL, incredible. Guys, it's that time of morning. We've already heard from Jolly Rancher what she's having for breakfast this morning, an egg sandwich. Tommy having an Enterman's chocolate donut, but I hope everyone else brought something to eat as well, because it is time for BYOB. Bring your own breakfast. We got the topics, the stories that we need to cover. You guys just responsible for bringing something to eat.
Yeah. And if you guys have any news stories you want us to talk about, football related or not, drop them in the chat. I love especially when somebody pops up in the chat and they're like, did you hear about this? And I'm like, no, I did not hear about that. That's awesome. So if you have anything interesting you guys want to talk about, let us know. The first thing I want to talk about, dude, the thing that gets me fired up most is, look, we're kind of technically part of the NFL media here. And that means we love drama, whether we pretend to or not. And I can't get enough of this Jeff Saturday, Kayvon Thibodeau stuff. Did you guys see how Thibodeau responded to Saturday's comments earlier this week?
I did.
I did not see how he responded. We talked a little bit about the controversy of him doing the snowman celebration with Nick Foles convulsing right next to him.
So there's a long video with his full responses, but just to boil it down into some basic quotes, they went back to Kayvon Thibodeau and they were like, asking him how he felt about Jeff Saturday's comments. And the first thing Thibodeau said was, look, he's like, you guys don't play the game. It's hard for you to know what that moment's like and be part of that moment. And then the reporter was like, well, these comments are coming from the other team's head coach who did play the game. And Kayvon Thibodeau goes, I don't know who that is. And they were like, Jeff Saturday? He's like, yeah, I don't know who that is. He goes, I only comment about people that I know and that know me. So I don't really care, basically, is what he said. To kind of put it in paraphrasing. So he basically just said he doesn't know who the Colts head coach is.
He's saying that just to get under his skin, right? He's well damn aware of who Jeff Saturday is.
Aware.
This is just some good old-fashioned trash talk, and I love it. He has every right to start throwing haymakers like that if he wants to, but man.
What do you think, Joe? What do you think about that? I know Maria and the family there are Giants fans, so I'd love to hear what they have to say.
I'd be curious to hear what Maria thinks, what Ed thinks if he's in the chat, but
Dr. Microanalysis.
Personally, I think if there's one Dr. Microanalysis, if there's one head coach not to know, it's probably Jeff Saturday. But I think Kayvon Thibodeau probably knows who he is. I think Simon's very correct here. It's probably a case of him messing with Jeff Saturday. I'd probably do the same.
I'd say if there's one head coach not to know, it's Kevin O'Connell.
No way.
Probably
dude.
Kevin O'Connell.
So Kevin O'Connell and Jeff Saturday at least played in the league. Like
Coop didn't even like your second suggestion.
Kevin O'Connell. Well, because Kevin O'Connell played for the Patriots briefly. That's why. If there's one head coach not to know, and I'll challenge you guys to see if you even know his name, but it's the timeout guy that got promoted to the head coach of the Broncos briefly. You guys
John Wolferson.
John Wolferson. It was I can see it in my mind's eye. It's Todd.
He looks like a Todd.
Jeff Todderson.
Close. Dude,
John Mackerson.
His name's probably as close to Jeff Todderson as you're gonna get. It's Jerry Rosberg. Jerry Rosberg.
We literally said that.
I made the odd sound.
So yeah, if there's a name not to know, it's the timeout specialist. Jeff Saturday's a 14-year NFL veteran, 6-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl winning center.
His name's Saturday.
He's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Good point, too.
Saturday, yeah. That would have been the best response from Kayvon Thibodeau if he was like, sorry, I play on Sundays. I don't really care about Saturday.
No, I mean, but also Jeff Saturday has every right to be talking about Thibodeau's celebration as well in that sack. That was not cool to watch, even if it was on accident. So no one's wrong here. They're just throwing stuff back and forth.
I don't know. I feel like Thibodeau
Thibodeau might be wrong.
I think he's leaning into, but the thing is, it's okay to lean into being the villain as long as you're okay being the villain, right? Like if you're going to be, this is a quote from a gangster from Providence during the era with the whole crime family and all the mafia down there. A guy named Jerry Tillinghast once said, if you're going to be bad, be good at it. So Kayvon Thibodeau, if he's going to be the villain, he started out pretty good with some of these quotes. This isn't the first time I've seen him come out and say something that was just like, shut your mouth. How about that?
Yeah. He also said that he is paid to be a savage and sack QBs. So he did mention that he wants Nick Foles to get better, but that's what he's paid to do. It's hard to blame him. I always kind of laugh at this whenever there's something happens in this game that's a result of the glorified violence of the game, and then we kind of go back. We're like, whoa, too far, guys. When like the whole game is basically glorified violence. So I don't necessarily disagree with Thibodeau here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if he had said, I'm paid to be a savage, get after quarterback, that's one thing. But like when you put it all together, and leaving, and just this is also leaving out like the injury stuff and the rest of the stuff that's going on with the league. Like he did the celebration on the sideline. He did the go to sleep celebration just to make sure everyone knew that like he meant it. And then now he says he doesn't know who the other team's head coach is, and certainly doesn't care what he's saying. It's
good trash talker, man.
It is good trash talk.
He's very good at it.
It is good trash talk. Like Saquon Barkley's the complete opposite. You see the quotes from him where he's like, my father was a football fan and I'm a huge fan of the game and NFL history is important to me. And then Kayvon Thibodeau was like, I don't know who that guy is. I don't know.
Yeah, quite the difference between those two guys. I saw a report yesterday coming out from Will Kunkel of Fox Sports saying that the Panthers locker room has made it very clear they want Steve Wilks to be their next head coach. From Derek Brown, he said, for us to be able to have Coach Wilks again next year and finally have some stability around here, that's what it's all about. Do you guys think Steve Wilks should be given a shot as the full-time head coach here in Carolina?
Didn't we already see this? Since Steve Wilks coached Cardinals for a while?
1 year, I believe. I don't think it went so hot, but
he's a good defensive coach. I don't know that I'd want him as my head coach. I mean, he seems solid. I guess I don't have that strong opinion on it now that I start talking about it.
What do you think about what he's done as the interim head coach since Matt Rule got let go here in Carolina? He almost pushed them to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that was a result of the division rather than a ton of stuff that he was doing, but I think he's a fine coach. I don't know that he's anything spectacular.
Yeah, I always worry a little bit that when you're a player, it's so easy to from their perspective, if you have a relationship with this guy and he's already kind of told you like what your job is when this guy's the coach and it's all working out great for you, like you have part of you is quick to say, yeah, let's bring this guy back, like we like this guy and we're all just going to keep our jobs and it'll be great. Like I don't know whether he's a great coach or not, because I've never met the guy, I've never been in those rooms, but I'll tell you this, I wouldn't just ask some of these players that have only been in the league for 2-3 years, like, hey, do you guys think this is the coach for this team? Like I don't know how much I would weigh that.
Yeah, I thought the quote from Derek Brown was interesting, to finally have some consistency around here. He's only been in the league like 2 years, right? So it must feel real inconsistent with what's been going on with the head coach and quarterback situation there in Carolina. So I understand them, like, maybe this is the first time even in his like 2-year NFL career that he's feeling any sort of stability, but you guys are right. It's not the player's job to hire a head coach, and they may not know everything that goes into being a good head coach. Dave said Coop could be a head coach. Coop greater than Jeff Saturday. You going to interview for the job, Coop?
I think I will, dude. Right? I might as well throw my hat in the ring and see if I can step up. I mean, I've been talking about it this whole time that, like, if Jeff Saturday can be coach and if the next logical step is for great Madden players to step up and pick up some coordinator roles.
How good are you at Madden?
I mean, not great, not the best. I'm pretty good at I'm really good at NHL. I'm really good at NHL. I think that
I'm sorry, NH what?
NHL, it's like a ice game. Chell, that's what they call it.
Ice skating. It's an ice skating game.
It's like an ice skating stick puck game. Toronto Dave might know a little bit about it, but yeah, it's like
I think figure skating.
Some of those skills might translate. Yeah, there's a mode. There's one mode that you could do figure skating in.
Is it really? Is that true?
Yeah, of course, dude.
That's pretty sweet.
XY.
I'm not gonna lie.
Actually, honestly, there isn't, but there should be.
Oh, damn.
Imagine, dude. Imagine.
That would be so sweet. Like, you have all these hockey players just being figure skaters.
And you do, and then there's like different buttons you press to do like triple axles and all that.
Yeah.
I mean,
triple axles.
Unfortunately,
Gremlins.
Unfortunately, they don't change the game from year to year. They just update the rosters and sell it to you for $60. So they would never do that. But if they did, I'd be in.
Wow.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be in anyway, but you'd be extra in.
Yeah, but anyway, like I was saying, since I'm so good at NHL, the video game, I'd probably be a great coach for the Panthers.
Checks out.
So
guys, we've been waiting for updates on Damar Hamlin. I just wanted to jump in and give an update on what we do know now. It appears that he's still in critical condition, but we're getting reports from around the league, different players going in to visit him, family and friends putting out statements grateful for the outpouring of support that has come Damar Hamlin's way, and his charity continuing to raise money. Over $7 million now have been donated to his toy drive. Unreal, the community coming together right there. So, guys, we're all still sitting here waiting for updates from Hamlin and from Hamlin's family on what's going on. But for everyone affected by this, just know we're thinking about you. We're going to continue to think about you, and we're going to give you guys updates as they're rolling in here. Hopefully some positive news today coming out of the Hamlin camp.
Yeah.
Thinking good thoughts. Hopefully we get some good news.
Yeah.
And Joe Burrow was talking today about what the Bengals were going to do about their game against the Ravens this weekend. So it sounds like there were still some effects from this event for that Bengals team where they were talking about not playing this weekend. And he said it's a bit divided what the team wants to do. If it was up to him, he would play it, though it'll be tough. But he said other teammates may feel otherwise. So it looks like these teams may consider just not playing in Week 18, which after that, completely understandable.
Yeah, 100%. It's a tough situation. Same with the Bills. Like it's going to be tough for them to come out and play, but got to move forward.
Yeah, so we'll keep you guys updated on what the decisions are there, but we'll be watching both the Bills and the Bengals games as well to see what these teams decide to do. I think ultimately it's going to come down to the players.
Yeah, with you guys. Did you guys see Kyler Murray came out of ACL surgery? Thumbs up, everything going well. He said, thank you for all the love and prayers. Appreciate the support and positivity more than I can express. I'll be back. So.
That's good that it was successful. Now, did they say whether it was just the ACL? Was it ACL, MCL? And is there any particular reason why they waited? I know sometimes they wait a little bit for the swelling to come down. Sometimes they do the surgery right away. Do we know any info on that? I'm sure we'll probably get a little update as he progresses. They have no obligation to come out and give that info, but sometimes they do.
Yeah, no, I did not see any update regarding the extent of the surgery, just that it was ACL surgery. And there's a picture here, him in his bed, chilling, smiling, because he's probably about to get to play some Call of Duty.
He's back, baby.
He's back. Yeah.
That's what he meant by I'm back.
Yeah.
He's gonna be crushing. Dude, the Call of Duty thing with the athletes it's so interesting to me. The other day I saw a quote from so Donovan Mitchell dropped 71 points, and they actually asked Kyrie Irving about it. They weren't even playing the same game, not even on the same team. And Kyrie goes, well, he's like, well, yeah. Like, I knew he was locked in. And they were like, what are you talking about? He's like, we were playing Call of Duty earlier today before the games, and I knew he was dialed in today. Like, imagine. I know, like, the studies have shown that, like, video games are good for your cognitive ability, but, like, imagine them sitting there, like, shooting, and then, like, Donovan Mitchell goes 71-5 in a game of Call of Duty, and Kyrie's like, you should do that today.
Coach, got to get my pregame warm-ups in. And then just walks over to the TV, grabs the controller.
Throwing grenades. I mean, whatever he's doing, it's working. Whatever gun he was using that day in multiplayer, that should be he should get the gold camo on that gun, because I got 71 points. That's pretty good, right? Not a big basketball guy. Pretty sure that's good.
It's better than 70 at a bare minimum.
Oh, easily. Don't even get me started on the 60s.
You can see this quote from Sean McVay. Andrew Siciliano posted it yesterday. It said Sean McVay just called this season humbling and a professional failure. That's from Sean McVay talking about this Rams team so far this year. Those are tough words from Sean McVay. Tough on himself right there. Do you think this dude's coming back? There were also rumors of him potentially walking away from this Rams team, that he's created a mess there. And if Stafford's gone, then maybe he walks as well.
I think Sean McVay has done a great job of creating this narrative that he can just do whatever he wants. And he's like this, like, the golden boy and sought after coach and Super Bowl winning coach. And if he wants to walk away, he can walk away. Or if he wants to take whatever job he wants, he can do that. Like, pretty smart when you're a coach and there's so much rides on your the perception of you. Like, just keep being like, hey, I'll walk away. And everyone's like, no, stay.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. What do you want us to do? Like Sean Payton kind of has done that too as well. It's like, dude, you called one onside kick in a Super Bowl. Like, all right. And now
that could just boil down Sean Payton's career to you called one onside kick in a Super Bowl.
Perhaps there's a little more to it than that, but hey, you want to keep that narrative going. You don't want to be on the wrong side of the narrative machine, like Mr. Matt Rule ended up on, and clearly Urban Meyer.
That guy got turned over by the narrative machine.
Oh yeah, crushed, dude. And same with Urban Meyer. I mean, he went out of his way, but you want to keep those.
He turned that machine himself. He was cranking that machine.
Right. No, I'll catch the next flight. That's what he said to the team. That's what he said to his own team. Like, okay, but yeah, I mean, McVay, he says the right things, he does the right things, and you have down years. It happens. So I think he's staying. Do you think, JL? Do you think he would walk? Do you think there's any risk of him actually doing that?
Sean McVay?
Yeah.
No, I think there's a risk. Sure, there's always a possibility here. I don't think it's likely. I think this is just posturing.
Yeah, agreed. He'll be fine. Yeah, I want to talk to you guys about. Did you guys see the Pro Football Hall of Fame finalist list for 2023? They dropped it last.
They had a couple exciting names on there. There were two in particular I was really excited about. But congrats to everyone who was dropped on it.
Ooh, let's see if we can guess. Or I'll name them, JL. See if you can guess which one Simon's excited about. So here are the names that headline this class. There's one that I'm fairly confident. So here are the names: Darrelle Revis, Joe Thomas.
Oh, he's got to be excited for Joe Thomas.
Cornerback Darrelle Revis. Is that one of them, Simon?
Which one?
Joe Thomas.
Joe Thomas is.
I figured that would be one. So yeah, so you have, Darrelle Revis, cornerback, Joe Thomas, lineman, Devin Hester, return men specialist, but he did a little bit of everything, right? Just exited out of the thing by accident. He did. Then you have Torrey Holt, wide receiver, Reggie Wayne, Andre Johnson, Dwight Freeney, Jared Allen, Patrick Willis, DeMarcus Ware, Zach Thomas, Darren Woodson, Rondé Barber, Albert Lewis, and Willie Anderson.
Rondé Barber, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. There's a lot of them on. Like, in my opinion, I'm such a big football guy that in my opinion, I just look at this list and I'm like, these are all Hall of Famers. Like, I'm like, yeah, get them all in there. These guys are all excellent. Is there anybody on that list that jumps out to you that maybe you're like, take it or leave it?
The other name I was excited about, not to completely subvert your question, but was Devin Hester. I love getting guys who are great at a specific thing. Not that he wasn't a generalist, he could do everything, but arguably the greatest to ever do it for punt and kick returns. Deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's just so exciting. So exciting.
So him and Joe Thomas were the one. And then Joe Thomas for the pain and suffering of being on the worst Browns teams possible, never earning a playoff win in his unbelievable career. Get Joe Thomas in the Hall of Fame first ballot. Like, just get him in there.
Yeah,
he deserves it.
Yeah, there's some. If you're going for pain and suffering points, Andre Johnson has quite a bit of those built up as well. Does he not? The quarterbacks he had to play with down there in Houston.
Yikes.
Yeah. Now, so then Albert Lewis, and there's always a couple of guys that are nominated as like the committee, like the old timer committee. Then that's Albert Lewis and Willie Anderson are some older players that could potentially get in. The thing with voting first ballot is that I don't want to see guys that are good fall off the ballot. Like, I don't want to. Like, this list is great players here. I think Revis is definitely first ballot type guy. I don't want.
You don't want to see Willie Anderson get knocked off so that someone else can get in first ballot if they're going to get in later anyways.
Exactly. Like Zach Thomas. I want Zach Thomas to get in. I think he should be in. I think he's a great player. Even though I was at Patriots and he was Dolphins, like, such a good player. And I think he deserves to be in. It's been long enough.
It's really big of you.
You know, I'm a fan of the game. And the thing with some of these guys like Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, Andre Johnson, those guys were amazing. But the fact that Terrell Owens wasn't the first ballot Hall of Famer when he's essentially second or third, it's based. Jerry Rice has every record, and then Randy Moss and Terrell Owens have the rest of them. They're either second or third in pretty much all of them. The fact that he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer makes it hard for me to look at any of these other guys really and say they have to be first ballot Hall of Famers. You know?
Yeah. I
know the media hated Terrell Owens, but like, how can you take his stats and put them up against Andre Johnson's and say that Andre Johnson has to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? You know?
I do think it was there was media bias against Terrell Owens that prevented him from being a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. So I'm not sure maybe that's the standard we should hold people to be a first ballot going forward, because they did hate that dude incorrectly, but they hated that dude.
His teammates. The thing was, it's like, and the crazy part is that it really does boil down to how he treated the media, because when you look at his on-field stuff and the things he did, like, he played in the Super Bowl with a broken leg. Right. Like, you can't say that this guy was he walked away on his team or whatever. Like, there's nothing more you could do than play the final game of the season with broken leg. Right.
Yep. And Tommy in here saying media is who votes. So it doesn't matter what the general public thinks if the media doesn't like the dude.
True. We got Albert in the chat. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Albert. Welcome in.
What up, Albert?
So the first time finalists are Joe Thomas, Darrelle Revis, Dwight Freeney, Darren Woodson, and Albert Lewis. Everyone else has been on the ballot at least once. And the guys that have been on it 4 times that are potentially at risk of falling off are Reggie Wayne, Zach Thomas, and Torrey Holt. Reggie Wayne absolutely has to be in. When you look at his stats, that guy had 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns for like 8 straight years. He absolutely needs to be in the Hall of Fame. So this probably
get him in there.
Get him in.
Tommy agreeing with you, saying Reggie Wayne will be.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
You know who's not in the Hall of Fame yet?
Taylor
Justin
Heineke.
Fields. And also Taylor Heineke. Both these guys are not in the Hall of Fame yet.
Close,
Maybe one
though.
day, Taylor. Maybe
Heineke,
one day.
Hunter Renfro.
Hunter Renfro also not in the Hall of Fame. Surprisingly
Toby
so.
Maguire.
Toby Maguire is in the Hall of Fame, Simon. You knew that.
Shoot.
Don't be silly.
Andrew Garfield.
Is Hunter
Also in the
Renfro?
Hall.
Has Hunter Renfro been voted into the Clemson Tiger Paw of Trust or whatever there?
Don't be ridiculous. It's called the Clemson Tiger Paw of Love.
Is he part of the TPOL yet?
No, but he is part of the Clemson Tiger Paw of Trust, but it's not what you thought it was. So the answer to your first question is still no, because even though you said the right words, you weren't referring to the right thing.
I feel like I should get at least half.
We're kind of sticklers for that.
You get, if we're going by the rules of most of our games, I would get 1 point, but not 2.
Possession arrow Coop's way.
No points and possession arrow my way. I think that's fair.
All right. And now the possession arrow's back my way. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Vols. We didn't talk about that one, but yeah.
No, we're not going to. The reason I brought up Justin Fields was because
my boy Charles P tweeted at me and said we did it. And I was like, what did we do?
We did it. Justin Fields ruled out this weekend after this week 17 loss to the Lions. Will not be playing his final game of the regular season, which means he's going to fall short of this record season quarterback rushing record that's set by Lamar Jackson, which is set at 1,206 yards. He's 64 yards shy of it.
Oh, if he was playing, he would have had it.
He probably would have had it.
Without a doubt, if he was playing, he would have had it. But you know what? It's a record, really. You know what I mean? Like, the health of their quarterback is what they're going for. They don't care about that record. They care about keeping this dude healthy because he's their future. And they're not playing for anything this week. Yeah. And they got Nathan Peterman sitting in the wings, or Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle or Nathan Peterman just ready to go. So why even risk it when you have high-quality quarterbacks like that sitting in the wings?
That's a good point. We got Dustin in the chat. Said, morning, gentlemen. Morning, Dustin. Welcome in.
Morning, Dustin.
We're just talking Fields, Russian. Yeah. That's it.
You sit there and look around the league. This is 2 years in a row now that virtually every mobile quarterback has gotten banged up. Last year, it was pretty much everybody except for Josh Allen, including Justin Fields. He got hurt last year. He got hurt this year. So it is risky to have the guy out there. It's crazy. You can quantify how important he is when the line goes from +1 to +7.5 when they announce that he's not playing. The old Peterman effect.
They give you almost a full touchdown for Justin Fields versus Nathan Peterman.
Which, I mean, when you think about the narratives of these games, that makes sense because basically every game he's good for a 70-yard play.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you ask me before most games, over under 100 rushing yards for Justin Fields, I'm going to be very tempted to take the over every single time.
I mean, if you sat there and said over under, will he have a 50-yard run? I'm like, I don't know if I can bet the under. Yeah.
100%. Albert in here asked us, Kyler Murray not going to be ready for the start of next season.
That's what they're saying. That is what they're saying. He's likely to miss the beginning of next season, given this injury.
You guys going to be drafting him if he's going to be missing the beginning of next year? What's your general rule of thumb on players like that, like these high caliber players that are maybe going to miss some time?
It depends so much on the player, on the injury, on the timeline, on the individual player injury and timeline, I should say. It'll depend here. If he's ready in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I think he'll be drafted. Anything longer than that, one quarterback leagues, probably not.
Yeah. And that's why I asked if we had news on if it was ACL, MCL, ACL, PCL, if we had more info, because that does matter. We've seen some data on it. Edwin Porras, there's a bunch of great people within the community, but I like Edwin Porras. Is at FB Injury Doc on Twitter. He tweeted something out the other day that basically said that since 2010, and he was looking at running backs for this one, but 5 of 13 qualified running backs who tore the ACL and PCL started the next season on the PUP. One of those guys didn't make it back till December/January off the PUP list, and then one of them didn't even play at all for the entire season due to complications. So When the more complicated the knee injury, the more at risk they are for missing time. So we got to keep an eye out for news on that. If it's just an ACL, we've seen guys come back in like 7-8 months. If it's ACL PCL or ACL MCL, we've seen guys have serious long-term issues. So we got to keep an eye out for news because it matters, especially in dynasty leagues.
Yep. Peep that news during the off season before we're making any of these decisions.
Pete.
There's a report from Raiders reporter Mitchell Renz that Devontae Adams is going to stay on the Raiders in 2023 and wants to have input on who the next quarterback is. You guys buying this? That they're going to give him a little bit of a say? Let's keep him happy, keep him on the team.
Yeah, I mean, with a guy like that who's been around for this long, couldn't hurt. You know, this isn't Patrick Mahomes drafting a running back. You know, after he's been in the league for like 3 years and he picks Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, you know, like this is a guy who's been around. You know, I think he knows a little something about quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, played with Aaron Rodgers, played with Aaron Rodgers, and played with Aaron Rodgers
and Derek Carr. Let's not forget.
And Derek Carr.
And don't forget his college QB, Derek Carr.
So
who do you?
Whenever it comes to selecting their next quarterback, who do you think they're trying to get? Do you think they're trying to bring in an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady? Like, do you think that's what this is alluding to? Or is it like you can help select between Gardner Minshew, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, and Brock Purdy?
If I had to guess what Devontae Adams' list is, with all the names, it was probably the names you said. It's probably Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr. Would it not be?
If you can't get one of the first two, then don't let Derek Carr walk.
Honestly, that might be the best options. Like, who's better than Derek Carr? You're gonna bring in Ryan Tannehill? Is that what you're gonna do?
No, I'd rather have Derek Carr.
Kind of the same guy.
You already got one. I got one of them at home.
Got one of them at home.
Yeah, but Derek Carr's much prettier.
See?
Only you think that.
He has prettier eyelashes.
Coop, you don't know that Simon's got a weird thing for Derek Carr's looks. Thinks he's the most handsome guy in the NFL.
I do not think he's the most handsome guy in the NFL. I just think he's got nice eyelashes. We can all admit he's got nice lashes, bro.
He does look like he could be a lead singer for like Green Day or something.
Exactly. That's all we're saying. Darren Waller is the most handsome man in the NFL.
Who's the third? Who's the third most handsome guy on the Raiders?
On the Raiders, Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs is a handsome man.
Wow, he might be number one. He's probably the most handsome.
Yeah,
we know who the least handsome is. Hunter Renfrow.
Hey,
he's pretty handsome.
Hey, now
he's like guy behind the counter at the bank handsome.
Teller.
Yeah, he's teller handsome.
Teller handsome.
He's not even a teller yet. He's like a trainee teller.
Tommy said, "Are you a closet Raiders fan, Simon?" And then said Foster Moreau. I don't know. I've always been pretty vocal about my appreciation for the Raiders. I'm a fan of the Raiders. I like their colors, that's for sure. Their jerseys are the best in the league. Albert also said, the Raiders can draft a QB. Do you guys see them drafting a quarterback?
It's possible.
That would be wild. But I wouldn't put it past McDaniels to do something like that. It buys you time as a coach. As a coach and a GM, drafting a quarterback buys you time. Like, unless you screw up royally, you can just be like, hey, we got this rookie now. We gotta see how things go, right? It's like, we gotta see how this plays out. I know we're not winning any games, but he's a rookie, so give us a break. It's a classic.
Tommy in the chat saying, no way, team core too old. You have Stidham. So you don't need to draft someone. Roll with Stidham. Maybe try to bring a vet in, but he's saying no way to draft a young quarterback.
You have Stidham. That's what he said.
You have Stidham. What a sentence.
Yeah. There you go. You don't need a quarterback because you have Jarrett Stidham.
I think I caught Stidham in college one time.
More than once, if I'm not mistaken.
Over spring break. Shout out Panama City.
PCB, baby.
Classic.
Disgusting. Dude. I never want to go back there again.
But that one time, it was.
But that one time, it was a lot of fun. Tommy saying the draft defense, Stidham is a solid backup. Yeah. I mean, do you think it's realistic that we see Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers on the Raiders next year? Like, is that possible?
No.
It's possible.
So we got a no, and it's possible. And Tommy says 100% in the chat, or Jimmy G.
Or Jimmy G.
Tom Brady on the Raiders. That would be wild, man. Devontae Adams. I would pick Devontae Adams in the
Tom Brady on the
one.
Raiders. I
pick
feel
him
like
one overall.
Is Taylor Swift entering like her reputation era? Like kind of like Tom Brady's like bad boy era. Now that he's over on the Raiders, he's like, yeah, like I was on the Patriots, went to the Buccaneers, but now I'm a Raider.
Now
Right.
I'm a Raider.
Sin City, baby.
Putting on the eye black. Yeah.
And it's like cringy badass, but
Win
he thinks he's gonna
City,
get, like,
baby.
real badass.
The thing
Remember,
is,
didn't they trademark Win City?
I think so, but they got to start winning more games before they
Yeah,
really
they got
use it.
they're trying to deploy it. They just can't.
trying to fast forward that winning culture by just trademarking win stuff. I think Brady is kind of good at being badass, though, I will say. Like he's got a good playlist of rap songs that he plays in the like TikToks and stuff he does. You know, he's always like many men, many men wish death upon me. And then you realize it's some like white dude that grew up privileged in California. Silver spoon, Michigan, straight to the NFL. And he's like blaring 50 Cent.
Speaking
of winning culture, did you guys see Dan Cammett? Dan Campbell.
Cam Dannett.
Dan Campbell mentioned that even though they may know that they're eliminated before going into this game this weekend, before the kickoff, he said, I quote, "There's one objective, and that's winning this game. It's us or it's nobody."
Love that,
Dan
dude.
Campbell.
I love that. Those quotes. That quote reminds me of like, you guys have seen Any Given Sunday?
Yeah.
No.
When he's like, the inches we need are everywhere around us, and you'll tear yourself and everyone around you to pieces for that inch. Like that's Dan Campbell. He's like, we're coming in like a shredder. And he's like, if it's not us, it's not going to be the Packers either.
Nobody.
It'll be Geno Smith. I mean, it has to be somebody. Dan, I'm not sure if you've checked, but somebody will go to the playoffs if it's not you. But
not from the north.
Not from the north.
Not from the north. Not if Dan has anything to say about it.
Dude, he'll bring the temple down on his heads and everybody else. I love
Those
that.
Damn cheese heads aren't getting past Dan Campbell. That's what he said.
She's lactose intolerant.
Yeah, I was going to start dropping cheesy quotes. Did you see what he said recently about?
And I'm all blocked up. That's what he wants.
I'm about to make it rain up in here.
Oh.
Did you see what he said about Hutchinson?
No, I did
about
not.
Aiden Hutchinson. It was.
I imagine something about how unreal Aiden Hutchinson is.
He said. He's everything we wanted, man. And with the number 2 pick in the draft, we got a football playing dude, man.
We got a football playing dude. Yeah,
we got a football playing dude.
I hope so.
That's right about that. I saw an argument.
And then you just hear like the Raiders from the other side, like, "Oh, ours doesn't play football."
He did not. He's drafted. That's what happens when you draft
Alex Leatherwood,
Jamarcus Russell. Alex Leatherwood. Ouch.
Alex Leatherwood.
I hope all these players that it works out. But I just remember being on draft day with a Raiders fan whenever that pick happened, and he was just like, "Why this early? Like you probably could have grabbed him in the next round."
I don't think it's going to work out
Gruden.
for Jamarcus Russell. Yeah, but so pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. We were talking
crazy.
We were talking about Stidham and potentially him being the quarterback. Did you guys see the Taylor Heineke? What he supposedly said?
I did.
No.
I did.
Dude, apparently Taylor Heineke was set to be the starter for week 18, but instead told the coaches that he thinks Sam Howell deserves to get the full start this week.
Whoa.
What?
Who the heck says that?
No one. But
Taylor Heineke drafted a lot of Sam Howell in his dynasty leagues, this past year, is what happened. Thinking like, oh, no way I make it through the whole season without getting benched. And then here we are. And so now he's just trying to get a little bit of a boost. See what Sam's got out there.
Maybe, yeah. My guess would be one of two things. One, the most reasonable one is they probably were like, hey, you know what? So, some point during the game, we're going to pull you and let Sam play a bit. And then he was probably like, you know what? Why not, instead of just pulling me, putting Sam in, why don't you just let Sam play a full game? That's probably what happened. But I like to think what's happening here is he looked over at that Cowboys defense and was like, why don't you put Sam in there? And and that way everyone get a look at Sam getting crushed by the Cowboys and be like, maybe we keep Taylor around next year. What do you think? A little chess move, a little rug pull move.
Smart. It's smart.
I risk because what if
all
Sam
those
comes
bush
out and
lattes
just
go
kills
straight
it?
to his brain.
I don't know. Yeah, I have a dynasty league where you can still make moves. I snuck Sam Howell onto the bench. I looked around at some of my players that weren't going to be on the squad next year, and I snuck Sammy on there. I was like, let's take a peek here. Maybe we got something. Why not, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Worth sneaking him onto a bench somewhere?
100%. I've got a couple dynasty leagues where I had him on my bench the entirety of this year, because unless that spot is actively needed, a young quarterback like that we haven't seen it from yet is a piece worth stashing in Superflex Dynasty.
Right. Would you move the completely unknown Sam Howell ahead of Malik Willis in your rankings at this point?
No,
probably.
I don't think so.
Ooh, JL.
No,
probably
not. Now that
I don't know, though.
It's probably not.
You know what it is? It's the player in front of Sam Howell. Because even though we have seen not great things from Malik Willis, there was a time where they believed he might be a better start than Ryan Tannehill there, right? Or at least it was worth it to start him there. We haven't seen a single start until week 18 under the request of Taylor Heineke, ahead of Taylor Heineke from Sam Howell. So him not getting any playing time ahead of Taylor Heineke is probably what does it for me.
And JL, I'm so close to being with you with your first response of like why not? What's holding me back, I'm not sure if you feel the same way, JL, is the rushing upside from Malik Willis. Like if they were both pocket passers and we just saw what we did from Malik Willis, I'd be like, yeah, give me Sam Howell. But just based on what we've seen from guys like Jalen Hurts, where Jalen Hurts, he took a bit to get going in the pass game. Same with Josh Allen. Like if you can combine that rush upside with just a little bit of throwing, that's what we want in fantasy football. I guess Sam Howell can scoot. He had a bunch of touchdowns in college.
Boot scooting boogie. He's got a couple of them in him.
Yeah, he
scooting boogie.
He can scoot. He can scamper. He's more of a brute force touchdown guy, but I remember seeing that he had some surprisingly good rushing stats in college. Let's see. I got him right here. 11 rushing touchdowns as a senior, 828 yards on the ground, and 11 rushing touchdowns, which in college, you never know what those stats mean, but it sounds like a lot.
Yeah, unless you're following it every day. That could be a lot. That could be just run of the mill. We have no idea. Albert wanted to know thoughts on Trey McBride for next season, Coop. You a Trey McBride fan?
Yeah. So as a tight ends are so difficult to judge in Dynasty because they do all sorts of weird stuff in college. The programs are all different. The most important thing is when they finally get into the game, into the NFL, how they get sorted. It's kind of like Harry Potter. You put the hat on and it goes, you're going to be a pass catching tight end. And then, Kyle Pitts and Evan Ingram play 65% of their snaps from the slot, or they put the hat on and they go, you're going to be in Hufflepuff and just block all the time. And then you end up being Drew Sample, or you end up being Hunter Long. Right. So Trey McBride's already passed that first test where they put Zach Ertz got hurt. They put him in a pass catching role. He's running a ton of routes. Trey McBride, Daniel Bellinger, Cade Otton, Chiga Okonkwo. You got to move those guys up in my book. So you're feeling good about anybody that came out and had a decent role from that standpoint. There's a bunch of other guys that not super excited about, like Trey McKitty from the Chargers. We saw a couple games where Gerald Everett was banged up, wide receivers are banged up. The guy he didn't do much. So he goes in the blocking tree. You can drop Trey McKitty wherever you're holding him. So the most important thing, Albert, is we're seeing that he stepped up in that capacity. Now we got to see if he can find a window to be a top 2 target on his team. Zach Ertz is going to be back next year. So you kind of just put him on the back burner for now.
Absolutely. Guys, coming up, if you got questions for us, more questions like that, fantasy or non-fantasy related, throw them in the chat. We'd be more than happy to answer any and everything you throw our way. We've got a breakfast cereal draft coming up. Then we're going to make some predictions for week 17 and then talk some fact or flash if players were a fact with their big performances or a flash in the pan. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
The Baltimore Ravens will win the AFC North 2023, baby.
Sophomore quarterback Cade Klubnik of the Clemson Tigers will come out and win the Heisman, leading Clemson to another national championship.
It's been a difficult time here in Boston for us Boston sports fans. We haven't had a parade in a couple years, you know? So I think it's time for the Boston Bruins to bring it home.
I think the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes will win the Super Bowl.
I think the New York Mets are going to win the World Series in 2023.
People will remember just how good Shohei Ohtani is. Elite as a hitter, elite as a pitcher. He will win the MVP award like he should have in 2022.
I will go with a Super Bowl prediction. Give me San Francisco against Buffalo.
I think in 2023 is going to be the year of Luis Robert. That guy's uber talented. He had a very old school coach who I don't think he clicked with. He was hurt a lot. I don't know if he's going to go Judge. I think maybe he'll go Yordan Alvarez, but I think Luis Robert is going to be the guy next year.
The Boston Celtics will win the NBA championship in 2023.
The NBA to me is wide open this year. There are a few teams that can win the championship, but I am going to go with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Luka Doncic, like he deserves it, should win MVP in 2023.
UGA is inviting everybody to the Bulldog Invitational, and they're going to get a three-peat.
Tom Brady will not retire.
I think we're going to roll back to 1969, where one of the New York teams, whether it's Mets or Jets, wins a championship.
I am going to make a ton of money in 2023. That is my sports prediction.
I'm going to say the New York Metropolitans will make it to at least the NLCS.
2023, it will be Chase Dollander from the Tennessee Volunteers being the #1 overall pick to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
The Baylor Bears will cut down the Nets in early April and win the NCAA tournament.
Kyle McCord wins the Heisman for the Ohio State Buckeyes as he takes them through an undefeated season into the playoffs and wins a national championship.
A healthy Kawhi Leonard and Paul George lead the way as the Clippers make it to the NBA Finals.
Bijan Robinson will be the runaway #1 overall running back in fantasy football.
The Los Angeles Lakers come out of the grave and make the playoffs and actually win in the first round.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. How's your cappuccino, Coop?
Phenomenal is what I said there. I was too caught in the moment. Too caught. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a barista now after making 3 cappuccinos, but probably best barista in the world.
You're not a barista at this
point.
I'm
I'm not just a barista is what I meant to say.
What else do you? A barista, a world traveler, a
rapper. I've dabbled in calligraphy.
Wow!
And
what a talented man.
And a champion of multiple game shows on this very show. I'm actually terrible at calligraphy. I can't even use this fountain pen that Simon recommended to me without ripping hole in paper. So
too heavy-handed.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. Maybe a little scrap. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at it, but yeah, I've ruined some paper.
I got a new one for Christmas. Metropolitan, a Pilot Metropolitan fountain pen.
Ooh.
That's a great introductory fountain pen if anybody's looking for them. They're like $20 and they are phenomenal. They work really
Somebody
well.
got you an introductory one?
There was an Office Max going out of business, and these are great pens to run around with. Everyday carry pens. You don't have to worry about messing it up. It works well. There's nothing fidgety about it.
I feel like that's the equivalent of getting like Derek Jeter, like a little league bat, like a peewee bat.
It's
like,
a little different.
Hey,
this
$20.
still has
Here you go.
this still has use for me. You know what? Like this has way more use. Like I would buy 10 of these before I bought another nice one because these are so much more useful in the day to day.
Now, if this particular pen, let's say you have it as an everyday carry, it's in your pocket, and a stranger asks you if you have a pen, do you still say no?
I say no because it's like they're gonna look at me like, "What the hell is this?" It's not gonna be like I don't want them to use my pen. They're gonna look at me like, "Why did you just hand me this? I don't know what to do with this."
They're just like, "Do you have a pen?" And Simon reaches into his backpack and pulls out like a feather quill and like a.
Oh, do I?
Do I? Here you are. Here you are, my good
The question
lad.
is not so simple.
He licks the end of it. Here you are, my scribe.
How often do you get asked about for a pen, Simon?
I don't leave the house very much, so not very often.
Okay, and before I've actually been meaning to ask you. I don't know if you have the answer to this, but do you have a recommendation for a really good like ballpoint or roller ball pen? Because clearly I'm not really cut out for this game. But are there any like high quality? Because I know they make crazy expensive.
There's no crossover, Coop, between that world and this world.
I'm going to be honest. I have done almost no research on rollerball or ballpoint pens. All of my pen research has been fountain pen specific.
Yeah, that's fair.
I probably should. I should expand. I should expand my horizons, Coop. Or you become the ballpoint pen guy.
Maybe I'll be.
And then JL, you become the felt tip pen guy. I can see you just really get into.
I'm gonna be a mechanical pencil guy.
Oh, you are a mechanical pencil guy.
There's a bunch of crayon work, finger painting.
Bunch of crayon work. Yep, finger painting is fantastic. Medium.
Yeah, and Tommy in the chat says go to penisland.com. Yeah, everyone go to penisland.com.
Classic. What are we back in 7th grade, Tommy? Guys, it is time. Coop, you mentioned all these different things that you were a rapper, a calligraphist, but something else you are is borderline undefeated in our drafts. Every draft we do, no matter what the results are, we will leave the draft and think, man, Coop really outdid himself this time by drafting the worst team he's ever drafted. Then we'll put it on Twitter and you'll get 60% of the vote. You'll get 70% of the vote.
It's because he has more Twitter friends. He hangs out on Twitter more than us. That is 100%.
JL, I think if you would have done them without our names attached, I think they still would have won. I think we just have different
tastes. Test it out.
Just test it out today.
Test it out today. We'll test it out today. We'll put it on Twitter without names. And we'll see who wins.
I don't think that's founded, Simon.
Today,
honestly, I think it's rude for you to suggest
a breakfast cereal draft.
Sounds like this discussion's been had when I'm not around, and I'm open to the challenge. I mean, I think that I like obviously I'm not trying. You guys are trying to say that the only reason I win these drafts is because I have followers on Twitter. So
I don't.
That's being kind of mean, dude. But what if your opinions are just trash?
That's what I think, Coop. I'm with you. I think we have trash opinions and are unaware of it. Or everybody else, Jail. Here's the other option.
Really?
Everyone else has trash opinions.
The trash opinion fix Weather Channel.
Amazing thing. That was probably
we're just
there's
out of
no
touch.
way.
We are out of touch with what people like.
Small sampling size, biased data.
People love
get the F out my face.
People love getting cozy. They love a big storm. Like they don't love the Weather Channel. I was drafting an idea. I was drafting a thought. I was drafting a feeling.
I was drafting a movement.
I was drafting a feeling deep inside, right here, dude. I was drafting a warm cup of hot chocolate on a cold winter night, and you guys are drafting like Nickelodeon. That's why I won that draft.
Coop, do you want me to determine your order first, JL's order first, or my order first? I'm going to RNG here. Random number generate.
I guess now is as good a time as any to inform you guys that I have never eaten a bowl of cereal with milk, and I don't eat cereal at all. which I thought would make this draft a little more hilarious. So I actually don't eat cereal at all whatsoever. So my draft is going to be based mostly on what I think might look good based on the commercials and what I think what has the best advertising and what has the coolest mascots. So my drafts might be a little different than yours. So, but let's get into it.
Okay, Coop, I'm going to determine your order first. You are up first. The guy who has never had cereal in his life has the first pick. AL, we're going to generate yours next. You're either going to go second or third. You got second, which means I am third in this draft. I got the turn here. So Coop up first, JL second, Simon third. And Coop, you're on the clock. First overall pick in the best cereal draft. Where are you rolling here?
So I will say that I'm not a complete maniac. Like I have had some cereals with just like without milk. I just never put them in milk. I've just had them like kind of.
So what's the deal
dry.
here, Coop? What's the deal with you and cereal? This is like a vendetta thing. This is just like an opportunity thing. Like you got to give us a little more info.
It all starts back when I was a young lad, and you know, my mom was a dietitian, right? But that didn't mean we didn't have cereal in the house. Like my dad liked cereal, my sister did, but me and my mom just never ate it. I would eat. No, don't scoff at my childhood, please. So I would every once in a while have certain cereals. Like if I was like somewhere where they're like, oh, everyone pick a box of cereal, I would just eat them. You know what I mean? But like I also didn't like the consistency of like eating, as Dustin points it out. Coop hates cereal because cereal is soup. It's just like, why am I eating this like dry thing that's all like just getting it like kind of wet, you know? It's just it's not wasn't my style. I'd rather just have a piece of toast or something. So for me, I just never really got into that game.
English muffin guy, if I'm not mistaken.
English muffin guy. Grain type. I like any sort of muffins, those type things, you know, fruits, not really vegetables, but you know, pancakes, waffles,
orange juice,
oatmeal. There's so many different cereals to choose from. I mean, there's so many different breakfasts to choose from that cereal. Everyone acts like you have to have cereal. That's just big cereal. That's just big cereal brainwashing the masses. So anyway,
it's not as threatening as Big Bacon, but close.
Big Bacon's out there to get you, no question. But bacon,
Big Bacon's amazing. Like CIA.
Yeah, they're trying to get bacon in everything, and I think honestly,
isn't Big Bacon just pork belly?
Maybe
it is. I think they're bacon is also trying to get themselves into a bunch of things that they don't belong in. But anyway, should we?
Like
so you're never stopping at the hotel breakfast, continental breakfast place. You're never stopping in the corner where the cereals are, grabbing a box. You're just going straight for those metal containers where you can just flip off the lid, get yourself some eggs, some sausage.
Oh yeah, always, dude, always. And I still always get a glass of milk, even if it's milk that's just meant for the cereal. I love milk.
So even if it's just creamer, you'll just pour that bad boy right in the glass.
Chug that up, dude. Yeah, get a banana. I'm like dude at the hotel breakfast thing that's eating the fruit. You know what I mean? So anyway, would you guys like to begin with the draft?
Absolutely. And it's on you. You're beginning right there.
I'd like to talk more about you, Coop.
Yeah, no, I had to elaborate on why I don't really eat this particular style of dish. So for me, there is one that I did eat all the time
so nervous
as a kid, like when I had to, and I would just eat it like dry, like kind of like a snack. And that was Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So I'm going to take Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It is, it fits my flavor profile best. So give me Cinnamon Toast Crunch, 1 overall.
It's a good choice.
It wasn't my one, but it was one that I was hoping to get, but that I assumed I wouldn't. But I think that's a great pick, Coop.
It appealed to me because I liked French toast, and in the commercials, they would take French toast and be like miniaturize it. So then I was like, oh yeah, I like that because I like that. But I'm not gonna pour milk on it. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I assumed I wouldn't get that one either. This next choice is tough for me. I'm going to go with Fruity Pebbles.
Okay. We made it. My 2 and 3 are off the board. You guys took 2 and 3. My second and third favorite choice here. JL,
Before
Fruity
we
Pebbles
go,
are elite. What a
I want to
pick.
hear. Can you tell me what's so great about Fruity Pebbles? Because I've never had them.
They are perfection. They are perfection. They're so delicious. They've been my favorite cereal since I can remember. Going back that far, they've always been my 101 of cereals. So I gotta go Fruity Pebbles here. You can make them into Rice Krispie treats. Oh my god, game changer.
They're so good. So good. And then the reason you know they're very good is because no cereal gets soggy faster than Fruity Pebbles, but I don't care.
I don't even use milk on Fruity Pebbles. I go straight dry.
Just and they just
Now you're
in your mouth.
Now you're talking my language. I might have to try some of these Fruit Pebbles you speak of.
Fruity Pebbles, yeah, just go dry. It's so good.
Joe, my parents used to buy them in bulk, like the big bags that you could buy like Costco and Walmart, like just like the giant bags of cereal instead of getting in the box, because my sister and I were some Fruity Pebble fiends.
Oh, I bet. Now, were you as strong for? Well, maybe I should wait. Maybe I'll wait to bring that up. Never mind.
Which means it's my pick, right? Here's my pick, and it's my number one. My number two, Fruity Pebbles. It's gotten the nostalgia, and it's probably still my second favorite cereal. My number three was Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's just a delicious cereal. But number one, it's candy for breakfast. It's Reese's Puffs with the number one pick for me.
Oh, I would have never gone that. So you're good. I mean, I would have gone that. I love the fruity. I'm sorry. I love the Reese's Puffs cereal. It's so good, Simon. Wouldn't go there 101, not chocolate.
Oh, I'm going 101 with the Reese's Puffs. I would have taken it if I had the first overall pick. There's not a more delicious breakfast cereal than Reese's Puffs. Now, the one thing I'm not sure of is if the different colored puffs are actually flavored differently, or if all of it just tastes like chocolate and peanut butter. I need to run some further experiments. I've never been able to actually figure that out.
That's a good
What do you
question.
guys think?
I think they're different. I think one's peanut butter.
But could it just be they're all flavored the same and just put a different colored dye in it?
Totally could be. That's how they get you on a lot of things.
And now we're on to my next pick, right? I get double picks here.
You do?
You guys took a lot of my favorite ones here. I'm going to go with they're so like the mascots are starting to come into play now, but I feel like we're going to go with a classic here. We're going to go with Fruit Loops. I'm going to add Fruit Loops to the list. They don't get soggy too fast. They're nice and crunchy and delicious.
They're on my list.
And Toucan Sam, he's the man.
They're on my list, Simon. Fruit Loops are delicious. So
Toucan
good.
Sam is the man.
He is the man. Dustin in the chat says, did you guys see the new Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Or you just said Sin Toast Crunch product? No, I did not. Unless you're talking about I know they have French toast. They have churros. I don't know if you're talking about those, but I don't think those are new.
I've seen the churros one. Also, Better Boss in the chat saying, I love Reese's and I've never had the cereal. You got to change that, man.
You got to try it.
So good.
My brother was a fiend for that cereal growing up, Simon. He was already grown up, but when I was growing up, he was a fiend for it. He used to just eat that all the time.
Dustin sent it on Twitter. The Cinefuego Toast Crunch. Hot.
Cinefuego?
It's hot.
Spicy?
Hot. Spicy.
Count me in. I love spicy.
I was Googling the new products, and apparently there's another product coming out. Cinnamon Toast Crunch Bugles.
Bugles? Like
I've had the cinnamon bugles. I don't know if they were Cinnamon Toast Crunch crossover, but they have like a cinnamon bugle or a cinnamon sugar bugle that I've had before.
Interesting.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch Bugles that are blasted with Cinnadust. That sounds awesome, dude. I want to be blasted with Cinnadust. Blast me up, dude.
Blast me up.
It's your pick, John Luke, I believe.
All right, my next one, Simon, I thought you were going to take this, and I was going to have to pivot to Fruit Loops, but luckily this fell to me. I think you could make an argument for this as the 101, so I'm very happy this came back to me. I'm going Cap'n Crunch with the Crunch Berries.
You can have it. You can have it.
With the Crunch Berries.
Cap'n Crunch, that's the berries one. Delicious. It's so good. Cuts the top of your mouth up like no tomorrow, but absolutely worth it.
What are the shapes of those the Captain Crunch things? Like
fat marshmallows.
Yeah, but it's not a marshmallow. It's like
no, it's not. It's like a little corn cereal.
It's like if they took like the plastic shell containers that like things come in, like the really hard ones to cut that almost become a weapon, and then they deep fried them and they puffed up a little bit. That's what it reminds me of. And they're delicious.
They're so good. So good.
So now that these two cereals have been drafted, now these two cereals have been drafted, I have to tell you a quick story from college that's kind of mean, but it's also funny enough that I got to tell you. One time I was hooking up with this chick. This is early in college. I think I was like a sophomore. And she had kind of a big nose. And my buddies and I were hanging out and we're, pretty drunk. And I'm like, I'm going to go hang out with so-and-so. Right. And my buddy was like, no, hang out with us, dude. Come on. I was like, no, I got to go. And he was super drunk, trying to call her Toucan Sam because she has a big nose. Accidentally goes, oh, dude, you're going to hang out with Captain Crunch instead of hanging out with us? So then from that point forward, they would call her Captain Crunch, and that was pretty much the end of me hanging out with her because I just couldn't keep hanging out with a girl that my buddy's called Captain Crunch.
Dang, that's just mean.
It was pretty mean.
I don't know why. Every time I think of Captain Crunch, I immediately then think of the Veggie Tales, We Are the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything. Just like it just makes me immediately go to that song over and over and over again in my head.
We are.
Dustin said, "What flavor is Captain?" Have you heard that, Coop? We Are the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything.
No, I'll check it out.
Cue it up after the
Dude,
show.
If you say Veggie Tales one more time, it's gonna be stuck in my head the rest of the day.
We are the pirates who don't do anything.
Stop.
We just stay home.
Stop
and
it!
around.
No,
I watch
that
it on
show
the
is
break.
the worst.
Coop, it's your pick, I believe, and I think you got two of them. Jail went with Captain Crunch and berries.
No, I want to be clear. I'm just going for the normal one, not the berries only.
You're just clarifying that there are in fact berries in it.
Captain Crunch's Crunch Berries. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go. So again, have
You're
really
not
had
going.
many-
Oops, all berries.
Yeah, no, not that. Not that. Crunch Berries is the official name.
Okay. So I'm going based on just what I've seen in commercials and what I wanted as a kid if I was going to eat cereal. So you already took Reese's peanut butter, Reese's for breakfast, which obviously I want.
Oh, I just can't wait for you to make a big mistake at one of these points going, because some of the commercials are really good for real garbage cereals.
Some of them are. So this one probably falls under garbage, but like if people are having Reese's for breakfast and I can't have it, then I want to have cookies for breakfast. So give me the Cookie Crisp.
It's a good one.
Good. That's a solid one.
Is it a good cereal? I don't even know.
I'm not a big like chocolate chip cookie guy, so I never was like crazy about the cookie. What were they called?
Cookie Crisp.
Cookie
Crisps. Yeah, but a lot of my friends were. I believe Maria's like goes ham for that one.
Cookie Crisp is delicious. And
Actually, I don't know how she feels about it. Maybe
It stays crunchy a little bit for a little bit longer because the cookies got some size to them in there. It's a good cereal, Coop. I'm a little disappointed with how well you're doing so far, based on not.
I want you to make
eating
some more
cereal.
mistakes.
There's still time though. In fact, there's time right now. It's time for your next pick.
Yeah. So now I'm trying to remember the cereal that always has all the sports guys on it.
Wheaties.
I don't know if that's even a good cereal. I'm just gonna go with chalk here and take Frosted Flakes.
It's not a not exciting pick, Coop. It's pretty chalk there. You're right, but I think it deserves to be drafted. It would have been a shame to get through this entire draft and not have Frosted Flakes on the board because they are delicious.
I'm gonna take them.
They're
Give me those.
fine.
They're fine. That's exactly what I'm going for here.
They're nothing
And-
special.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me Frosted Flakes.
Throw some strawberry in there. It's delicious. Keith said, "I'll throw Crave into the mix." Is that like a grown-up cereal? That sounds like a grown-up cereal.
It does sound like a grown-up cereal.
It sounds like a cereal where they're like, and guess what? There's a small treat of chocolate in the middle, as opposed to it being like our cereal is chocolate. Oh wait, no, it's just filled with chocolate. We're good.
When I
Keith.
hear
This
when
looks
I hear
great.
when I hear Crave, I either think that it's like a dad cereal or that it's like the surge of cereals where it's just sugar.
How have I never heard of this before? Looks delicious.
Does look good.
Joe, you're back on the clock then,
Oh
right?
man, there's one I think I don't know with Coop here. I guess anything could go, but I think I can wait and get one cereal on this list. I'm gonna go with. In the meantime, I'm gonna go with Apple Jacks.
Great.
If I couldn't get Fruit Loops, I'm gonna go Apple Jacks. It's the little brother of the Fruit Loop family. It's good.
No, it's delicious. I feel like Apple Jacks is often slept on as a cereal. It doesn't get the respect that it deserves of like the cinnamon profile cereals. It's always cinnamon toast crunch out front, right? But Apple Jacks killing it.
Killing it.
Now,
So good.
is like are Fruit Loops and Fruity Pebbles drastically different?
Yes.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
Now Fruit Loops and Apple Jacks a little less different, but definitely still different.
So the shape is more important than the
in this case, yeah.
Okay.
Well, because the shape of a pebble is just so different from the shape of a loop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if it was Captain Crunches to loops, maybe not as big of a difference, but from pebbles to loops, we're talking pebbles
Feels like a
to
different
loops
cereal.
here.
Feels like a different type of food.
What like
100%.
yeah. There are a number of different cereal shapes, and Captain Crunches aren't the only ones that are they're shaped like crunches, right? Like there's a Wheaties.
What is it? What is
like
a
that.
crunch shape like?
I don't know. You're the cereal guys. He would. I believe Simon was the first one that was like.
I've never said that in my life.
Loops are different than Captain Crunches.
No, I've never said that. That sounds like something you're trying to make up about me.
I wonder. I wonder if there's any way to like run this back, like possibly on YouTube or something to see.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That would be great.
That would be crazy.
But unfortunately, we are not.
Then we'd be able to see if there were any liars on this show.
None here.
None here. Okay. Well, anyway, then I guess I was the first person to say that, in which case I will not retract my statement. And there are probably a number of crunch-shaped cereals. I would say that Wheaties are crunch-shaped.
You know what? The crunch shape could just be kind of like the normal Pokemon, where like it's just like, I don't know. Like if it's just not any of the other shapes, like it's that one.
Yep, I
can see that.
I think that's right.
And Nick said Pebbles fill the spoon every time. Sometimes the loops just fall off. SMH. You're right. Pebbles sometimes even like if they fall out, they cling to the side of the spoon and say, "No, let me stay on the spoon."
Please, let me stay on the spoon.
But loops just fall off the edge.
Let me stay on the spoon. Pebbles. So Pebbles are kind of like British a little bit.
Yeah,
a little
for some reason.
What ethnicity would loops be?
Also
British as well.
Also British.
All cereal.
But they're northern.
Yeah, all cereal is British. It's just different kinds of British.
Different areas.
It's my pick. And God,
we're Pebbles. We're rough and the Pebbles a little more rough and tumble. And the loops are like a little bit more proper.
A bit more proper.
Bit more proper. Take the lift. Yeah.
Pebbles, I'm imagining like Oliver Twist for some reason. Like I'm imagining like a bunch of little kids just
we're Pebbles.
We're just Pebbles.
We're Pebbles.
The Pebbles. We vote for the Manchester United.
So Simon, did you take your second pick here? Your first pick?
No, I haven't even taken my first pick here. And I'm so nervous about just like throwing this draft. But there's a cereal that I want, and I don't know if other people like it or not, but I got to follow my heart. It doesn't matter if other people like it.
It does.
Honeycomb is delicious. Honeycomb is such a good cereal. And the little guy is so funny who runs around. Do you remember the little guy? I feel like Honeycomb is like the Butterfinger of cereal, where like it's so good. It just doesn't get respect. It doesn't get the respect it deserves. So I'm rolling Honeycomb with that one.
Honeycomb, I can respect, Simon. I can get behind some Honeycomb.
You can get behind some Honeycomb.
Yeah,
You're not going to mock me for my Honeycomb take here.
I remember this little guy, dude. This little guy would go crazy. He's a hedgehog, right?
He would go wild, right? I think he's a Honeycomb guy is all he is.
Yeah.
All right, Simon, you're still up here.
And we're going to go with a classic here. We're going to go with Honey Nut Cheerios as my next one.
Oh, thank God.
Honey Nut Cheerios are delicious and healthy and not that healthy. It's a good way to trick your parents into buying you an unhealthy cereal that they think is a healthy cereal if they don't look at the nutrition facts.
But it tastes
those
healthy,
things are
which is the worst part.
Full of sugar. It does not taste healthy. It tastes like sweet, crunchy yum yum. I also love
crunchy cardboard.
I love plain Cheerios. Like I love normal
Why?
Cheerios. They're just like nice. It's just like a nice crunchy snack.
You a baby?
Cheerios smell gross.
I'm just imagining you have one of those little cups with like the lids and the silicone lid that you have to stick your fingers into, and they're just all sticking on each of your fingers to the sides. Oh my God, Simon as a baby.
But as a man.
But as a man. That's fully what I'm imagining here.
So I added honeycomb and honey nut Cheerios.
Big honey round for you, buddy.
Yeah, we went honey heavy here.
Honey boy, dude.
Honey boy. I'm going with one. My next pick here. I almost forgot about the cereal, which honestly broke my heart a little bit. I'm going with Trix. A+ commercials, A+ cereal.
That's the one that's for kids, right?
Yeah.
Trix is for kids. JL, had I not gone Fruit Loops, I would have gone Trix. Like without
You're
a doubt.
going balance here. I'm completely unbalanced. I'm going straight sugar, straight fruit.
I like it. But Trix, I actually like Trix better than Fruit Loops. I'm gonna give you, like, even though I know I have Fruit Loops on my team, I just thought Fruit Loops was a little bit more classic. But Trix is probably my second favorite cereal after Reese's Puffs.
It's good, right?
It's so good. The shapes, the balls, the fruit shapes, they're just perfectly yummy and they soak up the liquid just right.
And talk about commercials that really just nailed it. You know, they found their lane and they stuck to it.
Yeah,
Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids.
Somebody, I didn't even eat them, and I was like, "Those are for kids," right? Like
those are for kids. You knew.
But the thing is, they kind of pigeonhole themselves because like now parents are just like, "Can't eat this." The kids.
I mean, but you also got the parents who are like, "Yeah, I'm gonna eat it anyways." Like capture my inner child. The Trix yogurt was the bomb.
Oh, I've had that.
Like,
yeah, that's
like
tight.
with the two different colors in there. You'd open it up and it'd be neon green and neon pink yogurt.
Yeah, that's kind of more my speed. A little yogurt, a little, not just a big bowl of sugar. Okay.
Dale drafting Trix. Coop, you're back up with 2 picks. Where are you rolling here?
Now, I'm assuming this is illegal, but I'm going to bring it up now because Tommy said it in the chat. Tommy, we're not ignoring you. I just didn't want you to give away a little trick move I was hoping to pull. I assume this is going to be allowed. But so Tommy said draft at the very beginning, draft Rice Krispie treats. Can I draft Rice Krispie treats? Or does it have
you
to
can
be
draft Rice Krispies.
Cereal, not the treat.
I want to draft the cereal. So I'm not going to do that because
that would have been go ahead.
If I could just draft the treats. I mean, if you draft the cereal,
you can use the treats as a reasoning for why. Like JL brought up, like Fruity Pebbles are the best. You can also make treats out of them, but he has the cereal on his team, not the treats.
Now, do people like even Rice Krispies? Like,
they love them.
They go snap, crackle, and pop. They got those 3 little guys running around.
Big cultural pick right there.
I gotta go for 2 things. I gotta go. Simon's inspired me to go with my heart and go with ones that I actually believe in or that I actually do eat. So I'm going to draft one that I've never had, but the marketing I thought was impeccable and it stuck with me to this day. So give me Count Chocula. Give me that chocolate vampire. I'll take him on. Was that a good cereal? I have to ask you guys. Once I make my picks, every question I have to say, is that any good? Is that a good cereal or?
Of the spooky cereals of Count Chocula, of Frankenberry, and of Boo Berry, I think it's the far superior one.
Okay.
And I generally prefer fruity cereals over chocolate cereals. But I think Count Chocula is the best out of all of those. And JL, I think this is the moment. I think this is the moment we lost to Coop in the poll. I think Count Chocula is a crowd pleaser. I think there's some fake nostalgia where everyone acts like that was the only cereal they ate ever. And I think it's purposeful. They kind of make the boxes a bit retro looking, I think, to like invoke some of that nostalgia. Beautiful marketing on the Count Chocula. Beautiful pick from Coop. And this might have been the moment Coop just beat us with the crowd pleasing Count Chocula pick.
It's possible. I know there are some Count Chocula fiends in the chat. I know Tim is a big Count Chocula guy.
Dustin Coop wins with Count Chocula. Look at we got the Count.
You.
The Count Chocaholics are out, dude. Yeah. So, and we're going to do this as a non-biased one. We're not going to put anyone's name on it. And if we quote tweet them, we're not allowed to imply whose is whose, right? Because I will do that.
Naturally.
So we know.
So this time around, we won't be doing any of that, which I think is fair.
And Jay said, I'm late. Did Fruity Pebbles go yet? Indeed. Second overall to JL. Fruity Pebbles went. Coop, what's your next pick?
Yeah, so I gotta take. Oh man, with this last one, I could tank my entire draft taking what I want to take, but it's not. Some people consider it not to be a cereal, and then, or I could take one that I think is that's always appealed to me in the commercials. Which way do you think I should go, boys?
The wrong one.
The wrong one that no one's gonna like. Okay, then I will take a and again, correct me if this is not allowed, but the one I do eat, and I mentioned earlier as something that I do eat, is the hot cereal known as oatmeal. Now, can I take oatmeal, or is that not considered a cereal in your opinion? People don't like oatmeal, so I think it's kind of doing you guys a favor. Like oatmeal is such an example of a boring thing, or I could take a cereal, which I'm willing to do. Absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Leave it out. Let's leave it out. It's not. Yeah, it's like Rice Krispie treats, right? It's not quite cereal.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay, Dustin says oatmeal is not cereal. I think that's fair to leave it out too. But for me, like that's the closest I get to actually eating cereal. That's why I had to at least try and take it. Right. So instead, I'm just going to take one that once again the commercial spoke to me. I know this song in my heart, even though I don't eat cereal, which is Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Take it.
He beat us, JL.
Those heart stars.
I don't even care. You can beat me all day with the Lucky Charms. Lucky Charms is one of the worst cereals ever made.
See it on your face.
So bad. It's so laughably bad. The fact that people liked it is hilarious.
I knew you were gonna have a strong take on it.
It's so bad. So go ahead.
But the marketing
beat me in the poll. I'm laughing to the bank with my cereals right now.
The marketing is impeccable for that cereal. I'm kind of a litmus test on what has great marketing, because like you were drafting cereals I've never had, and I was just like, oh, I love Reese's Puffs, even though I
never even had it.
But I love them though. You know what I mean? Like there's a soft spot in my heart for Lucky Charms in that little song they sing, even though I've never had those either.
Yeah, this is I'm so glad you took Lucky Charms. That is totally fine. I've never even had Count Chocula, so I wasn't gonna pick it. I wasn't gonna be a big fat phony just to get some votes here. I'm gonna go with one, and nobody.
I'm the most. First of all, I can't possibly be a phony because I'm the most pure one here, having not had any of them.
Sure. I'm gonna go with. Oh God, I have to know whether am I gonna go for the vote? Am I gonna go for the crowd pleaser? No, I'm gonna follow my heart because I don't care about the vote. I'm gonna go Frosted Mini Wheats. This is my last pick.
JL, you're over here trash talking Lucky Charms, and then you take
love them.
Literal
They're
cardboard
so good.
with icing on it. No, it is like
you pour some milk on that bad boy. It's so good. Some almond milk.
It's just like dry, crunchy.
You know what?
Nasty.
I'm changing my vote because I can get that.
No.
I'm changing that vote because I can get it off the waiver.
You can't
wire.
wait. No, you can't wait for Simon. Actually, we'll let you do a waiver.
I knew Simon was gonna hate that.
Let Simon make his pick, and then you can do a waiver transaction.
Fine,
I think that's the fair approach. You can't say one and wait for Simon
Coop,
to say.
Meanwhile, lists cereals, waits for us to react, and then says his vote.
You can't. Well, you can't.
And then he gets mad when I do it.
No, because I wanted oatmeal and you guys nixed it.
Go ahead, Simon. Say yours.
No. Yeah, but I'm just saying, you can't say a cereal, and when Simon says gross, say wait a minute, curveball.
Oh, I will let you know though. Nothing that I could say about JL's pick would have changed his answer there. Like I fully believe that his answer was changed through his own thing because he knew I wasn't gonna like.
Yeah, we've talked extensively about Simon's dislike for the cereal on the stream.
It's just nasty. It's just not good at all. Have you guys had the cereal? It's a spinoff of a cereal that Coop has, but it is a delicious, delicious cereal. French Toast Crunch with the syrup topping on the French toast pieces in there. I think that's where I'm going with this last pick. I was between a couple. I was between that one and then like the cereal I ate a ton of growing up was Cinnamon Life, which is a delicious cereal, but it's not very exciting. I had a lot of kicks whenever they would try to make me be healthy. My girlfriend loves Crispix, which I think is maybe the most boring cereal that's ever been invented. But I got to stay true to my roots. I am a sucker for like a fun cereal. Like if I'm in the aisle and it says French Toast Crunch or like Mega Cookie Surprise, like that's what I'm buying. And I'm staying true to my roots with my last pick, French Toast Crunch.
I'm looking at Crispix. They just look like honeycombs that are worse.
Like Chex Mix, but worse. And you're supposed to pour milk on it.
I just love that Coop almost went Rice Krispie treats. I was really hoping he'd fall for that trap because those things are the worst.
You guys tried to trick me, dude.
Those things taste like nothing.
Dude, I'm running this episode back, and watching all the lies from you fellas, all the deviance from you fellas during this draft, trying to take advantage of me. Like this is like a dude coming over from fantasy baseball to draft his first fantasy football team, and you guys are like, "Yeah, dude, go ahead, take Devin Funchess. Yeah, he's great. Take
Daryl Patterson.
Take Honey Funchess of Oats." You're trying to trick me, dude. So, are Rice Krispies, are they good or bad? I don't know.
The cereal is terrible. Rice Krispie treats are fire.
But that's just because that's just because we all like marshmallow.
Yeah, because it's all mixed in.
I don't hate the cereal, especially if you throw like some strawberries in there and a little bit of sugar, then it's delicious. But a cereal that you have to dress up yourself to make the best isn't my preferred cereal. Like, give me one that comes loaded with sugar and flavor already.
They sell Rice Krispie treat cereal, apparently, where it's just little Rice Krispie treats that you put in water and milk.
You put in water. Just add water.
That's gross. All right, so let's do a round of waivers. Who goes first?
I don't want to change anybody on my team.
I don't want to change either. So we just
I'm fine with this.
Wait, I thought you wanted to make a waiver move.
No, I'm fine with this.
Well, who was your
It was mini wheats, frosted mini wheats.
Who's the potential that you were going to change it to?
Oh, I was thinking about maybe switching to Honey Bunches of Oats because I do really like that cereal, but I'm sticking true to my heart here.
Once I dropped that Funchess line, it kind of ruined them.
That too.
Let's do a recap of our teams.
I didn't get
here.
Lucky Charms.
Coop, your team, you've got Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cookie Crisp, Frosted Flakes, Count Chocula, and Lucky Charms. JL, you've got Fruity Pebbles, Captain Crunch's Crunch Berries, Apple Jacks, Tricks, and Frosted Mini Wheats. And
wait, can I do a can I do a waiver one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna switch in. I want to switch in the chocolate pebbles.
When are we switching out?
For the Cocoa Pebbles?
Cocoa Pebbles for mini wheats.
Oh, you're gonna trade mini wheats out for Cocoa Pebbles?
Yeah.
Now you're pandering. Dude.
I'm just thinking, if I had to choose between the two at the store, I think I'd still go Cocoa Pebbles.
So, Joe, your team now. Fruity Pebbles, Captain Crunch's Crunch Berries, Apple Jacks, Tricks, and Cocoa Pebbles.
Let's go.
And then my team, you've got Reese's Puffs, Fruit Loops, Honeycomb, Honey Nut Cheerios, and French Toast Crunch.
Kind of stole my thunder there a little bit with your French Toast Crunch move. Don't really love that.
I think a lot of people prefer Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So you still probably got it safe there.
It's a different cereal.
It's a maple cereal instead of a cinnamon cereal. It is. It's not the same cereal at all. It's a different flavor profile altogether.
All right. Word. Like I was that kid that kid in the draft that just drafts based on Fantasy Pros consensus rankings and just crushes the whole league because everyone else can't do cute.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at your draft, Coop, and I'm not going to be shocked if you win this poll.
Well, because I drafted based on freaking commercials, so I mean, it's gonna touch on some heartstrings.
And JL, Tommy said you had it till the last pick, and Ernie said that's the type of draft that gets GMs fired.
Dog, what's your favorite cereal, bro? Oh, I have two questions. What's your favorite cereal, and what was the cereal with the frog on the commercials? Because I was trying to figure
Corn Smacks, Honey Smacks, Honey Smacks,
Okay.
I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
It's like an old man cereal, I think.
Is it?
Honey Smacks.
I feel like that was before our time.
So producer Keith loves them.
So my friend growing up had a Maltese that would eat literally anything. Like no matter what you put in front of it, it would eat everything.
It's very original, Ernie. Very original.
We had
Ern's a genius, bro.
it would not eat corn pops. So like we had corn pops and we would try to put corn pops, like we'd mix it in with its food or put it in front of it. And it would every time sniff it out and refuse to eat a corn pop. So I stopped eating corn pops. I'm like, if Scrappy's not eating it, like that dog I've seen eat literal garbage and poop off the floor.
Shit.
And it will not eat a corn pop. So like, you know what? Me and you both, Scrappy. I'm taking corn pops out of my diet.
Corn
That's
pops
pretty funny.
are
I'll eat corn pops. Corn pops are fine.
those are crunch shaped. That's a crunch shaped cereal, I would say.
Victor said, did anyone take Oreo cereal? I considered it, but did not. Or Frosted Flakes.
I also considered it. Not Frosted Flakes. No.
I 100% thought about doing Oreos, but I couldn't double dip into cookie cereals. I thought I needed to diversify.
They're fine.
You can't have multiple cookies.
Jill, were you hitting the soundboard during the show at the beginning there? Because all of a sudden, we couldn't see you. It looked like you were gone. Like
I was wondering why you guys weren't reacting.
Well, because we thought you were gone entirely because like your video froze, then disappeared, and then all of a sudden Coop and I are talking, and I just hear, "Wow."
That must have been the weirdest start of the show to everybody.
Congratulations!
I love that, dude. I love getting the soundboard going.
Coop and I were both just looking at each other like, I thought he was gone. Like,
that's really funny that you guys couldn't see me.
Couldn't see you. That was insanity.
Absolutely scared me. And Ernie said Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Man. Coop, I want you to do me a favor. I'll trade you one watching of The Godfather for one bowl of Reese's Puffs that you consume.
With milk? I'll do it with milk.
That's a good deal for you, Coop. That is such a good deal. Yours takes like 5 minutes. This takes like 3 hours.
What am I doing?
One offer can't refuse.
That was not me.
Keith added Godfather audio. Okay. I mean, so wait, what cereal was it that I get to eat?
Reese's Puffs. It's candy for breakfast.
Yeah, candy for breakfast, and I'll do it with milk. Do you put the milk in first or the cereal first?
Cereal.
JL, you do the same?
Cereal.
Okay, so you put the cereal in the milk. I'll take a little video. I'll let you guys know what I think on that. The thing is, the only thing I'm not even opposed to eating that. I do have to eat a tomato on the show as well. I think next week I'll pull that up, or maybe I'll do it on Friday. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. The tomato thing. It depends when my wife goes to the grocery store. That's when I'll eat the tomato. But I'm not gonna go get one myself.
Oh, that's gonna be so disgusting.
I know. But anyway, what I don't want to ruin is I do enjoy the bit where Simon has not seen The Godfather. So, but I'd be willing to
pick a different movie if you wanted to.
Well, let the chat pick, dude. What's important?
You watch Nacho
Godfather 3.
Godfather 3.
Nick, you watch the Godfather 3 first?
That'd be pretty
hilarious. And try and figure out what's going on.
I think I'll know what's going on. I got a general idea of it. You come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding. That's The Godfather, right?
That's it. Yeah.
That's Godfather 1 and 2, the whole plot. I think I'm caught up now.
It's that line of dialogue.
No.
Kind of is that is the whole
You shot my meatball.
You come to me first. Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes. All right.
I've been listening to this Dungeons and Dragons podcast that takes place in New York City. Like that's the setting for the podcast, but there's like a magical element to it. And there's these like gangsters that are pixies. So they're really little, but the voice that the guy does, that Brennan Lee Mulligan does for these guys, like a high pitched, but like Italian mobster pixie voice is one of the greatest character voices I've ever heard. Like it's so great. It's like The Godfather, but if they had like Alvin and the Chipmunks does The Godfather.
When are we doing our own Dungeons and Dragons? Because that's what
this off season.
That's what this whole thing's about. Like establishing the show as a football show, and then just immediately pivoting to what we actually want to do, which is just nerd stuff. Right?
Just nerd stuff. We're just gonna do Pokemon Let's Plays and Dungeons and Dragons all off season.
And the thing is the FYF chat would not be surprised one bit.
No,
this is right. This is right on course.
Nor would they be against it. There would be a handful of people that pop in every once in a while and be like, "Can you guys talk about football?" Which still happens, but the answer to that is sometimes when we feel like it.
Jay said you need to bring Cooter Doodle on to talk Milker cereal first. Yeah, she's got some interesting takes on Milker cereal first for sure. The reason Here's the best part about Reese's Puffs, Coop. You just got to keep on filling it up with cereal, that bowl, the same milk. Just keep on dumping cereal in it. And then when it is time to drink the milk, that peanut butter chocolate flavored milk is
Do I have to drink the milk, JL?
You have to drink the milk.
It's so good.
This is so crazy. It went from trying a bowl of cereal, which I've told you guys I don't like, to putting multiple rounds of cereal in there and then drinking the milk.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
You have to watch all three Godfathers
to enjoy it.
No. That's just one Godfather.
No way, dude. Hey,
I'll watch a Godfather and a quarter of Shawshank Redemption. Final offer. But not the first quarter or the last quarter. I'm going to watch like the second quarter of Shawshank Redemption.
Second or third. You decide.
Yeah.
Probably the first.
I'll watch from the
37-minute
mark. From the 37-minute mark to the hour and 15-minute mark is what I'll watch of Shawshank.
We'll chop up the minutes. We'll divide it evenly.
Watching the second quarter of a movie, just that is probably the worst part, because that's always when it's like
it's just the conflict.
Like everyone knows each other already, and it's building up to like the big
something, but you don't get to see the something.
You just watching people get along for a little bit.
Get along and then get ramped up to conflict, but nothing happens.
But you don't get to see the conflict. Yeah, I kind of like that. Somebody has a gun, but nobody shoots it. Right. Like,
let's make that like a punishment bit. Like from now on, you have to watch only the second quarter of
just
a movie.
The middle chunk of a movie.
It's all you're allowed to watch, and we figure out down to the timestamp an exact quarter of it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty. That's a pretty big waste of time. Very strong waste of time there.
But then you have to come back and you have to explain the entire movie plot.
Based on just that,
using just the second quarter,
and the other two people will be like constantly trying to trick you into admitting that you did watch the whole movie, just because you're not going to watch just the middle part of a movie.
Well, no, we have to. It's a new business idea. We start selling movie chunks. You want a chunk of a movie? You don't got time for a whole show? How about just a movie?
Who's got time for a whole show nowadays?
Just a movie chunk.
Just watch yourself a chunk.
Who needs to know everything when you can get the idea? That's all you need.
Honey frosted movie chunks.
Oh, delicious.
All we'd be doing
for a second.
All we'd be doing with that is confusing the audience and spoiling a bunch of movies. just guessing how it ends, and then you're like, "Yep, that's it." Guess how we'd be the first group ever to play Guess How the Movie Begins. Like, how did we get here?
We did used to, as a running bit on the game show, do a thing where while we were waiting or it was quiet for like Jeopardy or something like that, someone would have to give a movie review of a movie they had never seen in their entire life before. It was my favorite bit.
That was pretty funny.
That would actually
Nick said you're describing Cliff Notes, I think. But if you only read the second chapter of Cliff Notes, you skipped over the first whole chapter of Cliff Notes.
We should honestly play that like movie game where you like just try and guess what it's about.
Let's do it. Guys, coming up, Coop is going to be leaving us this morning. JL and I are going to be taking over. Just some hogs hanging out for the rest of the show here. We're going to be doing some weekly predictions and then talking week 17 and fact or flash from last week. And as always, guys, if you've got some fantasy football questions or other questions, throw them in the chat. JL and I would be more than happy to answer them for you. Coop, enjoy the rest of your day. And everybody watching, this is the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network.
Can't miss Mitch is hanging out with Rick Kamla here. He's with Roster Watch. I want to let you know something here, my friend. I'm a listener. I'm a seeker of knowledge, okay? And I know it sounds cheesy if I said I'm a seeker of wisdom, but I am. And Mitch, I've learned a lot from our interviews here on Better Sports Network. Because what you just said is something that I've had to work through in my dome. This has been my first time with a full-time gig in the betting space, right? I've dabbled in it, I've bet a million times, but it's on a huge platform here with the betting analysis. And so I'm learning, I'm evolving, I'm accumulating information and wisdom. And through what you've been telling me, trust the data, right? It's been like working on me. And a lot of times I talk my way out of a winner, Mitch. And it's about just trusting. Like, okay, so if I got a vibe on a player in a big-time basketball game and it's a superstar showdown and all this kind of stuff, and I have a predetermined vibe and I go in and I look, and every single indicator that I look at is under. Why am I going to go over? Just follow the numbers and listen to the data. And guess what, Can't Miss Mitch? I have been doing that, and I've been missing out a lot of NBA props because of blowouts, load management, and all that stuff. Is that a complaint? But I've hit a couple of unders recently that didn't feel good, Can't Miss Mitch, right? They didn't feel good at all.
Unders never feel good.
They don't feel good, but I said all of the trends say under, so I'm going under, and I hit on them both. And I literally thought of you when I hit on those, man. But this is really sound advice for everybody out there, isn't it?
It really is, and sometimes it's hard. If you want to gamble, gamble. That's when you can do dumb It really is. Have fun at the roulette table. That's gambling. If you want to actually try and have sustainability, sports betting, you've got to have a system that's backed by data. And you've got to find the data that correlates to scoring points and what the opposing points are going to score against them as well. It's not hard. All the data is out there. You've got to just play with the numbers, and you got to continue to stick with that system, back test it, play with it, and then you're a sports bettor. You're not gambling.
Talk sports with Lisa Ann and Rick Kamla, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We got some people in the chat saying bye to Coop. Coop will be back tomorrow morning hanging out with us, but heading out for the rest of the show today. Also, I see Jay in the chat saying first half of one movie, second half of another. That is a good... I've told you about this before, Jail, but I will stand by this. One time, Tim and I, on accident, watched two movies together, kind of like that. We meant to watch Zombieland, and so I was downloading Zombieland, illegally purchased, but still had to download it onto my laptop. But I accidentally downloaded Adventureland instead of Zombieland. So
great movie.
A great movie.
Both great movies, I'd say.
So we started watching Adventureland while Zombieland downloaded. It finished downloading at almost exactly the halfway point of Adventureland. So we paused Adventureland, watched the entirety of Zombieland, and then went back and watched the other half of Adventureland. And I think that's how you're supposed to watch those movies. I think they just never said it. I think that's the designated watching order for those movies. Half of Adventureland. What made it better? It kind of felt like a complete story, almost like it felt like Zombieland was like an aside from the main story of Adventureland.
Remind me of the plot of Adventureland, because I don't remember.
There's a theme park and there's the guy from Zombieland in it, and that's all I can really remind you. That's why it felt like a continuation of the same movie.
Like he was just the same character.
Yeah, it was just the same guy.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Is that him?
I think that's right.
I always get him and Michael Cera confused.
That's so rude. They're totally different actors.
Yeah, but the same vibe. Know what I mean? They give off the same kind of like pathetic, but like confidently pathetic, like pathetic, and I'm proud. Like
I
that's
love
the
those
vibe
two
they
actors
get.
too.
Me too. Big fan.
Maybe I have a type. Maybe I'm archetyped in reverse.
You're the anti-Eisenberg?
No, like I am attracted to those type of characters.
Wait, so what? Explain the archetype in reverse comment.
You know how like actors they get typecast is what I was thinking.
Gotcha.
They get typecast, but in reverse. Like I like those actors because they play characters I always like.
You like a sheepish actor?
Yeah, they're like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Fantastic movie.
Oh, it's such a good movie. Leanne had never seen that one. Then on a flight, I was like, you got to watch this with me. And she was like, you're right. That's a fun movie.
I think Youth in Revolt is where I really fell in love with Michael Cera. If you've never seen
Revolt, I've never seen Youth in Revolt.
Simon, you would love it too, which is the tragic part about this, because I don't think you're going to watch it, but you would love this movie. It's a good movie. It's very Simonish.
This looks a lot more approachable than, say, Shawshank Redemption or
Shawshank Redemption's is, yeah, they're classics, right? They're classic movies that you got to watch. Youth in Revolt is much more of a Simon movie. Like, I think you would just enjoy it. It's not a mainstream popular movie. But it's fantastic. And Michael Cera is excellent in it.
And Justin Long's in it.
And Justin Long is in it. Our good buddy Justin Long.
Our great friend Justin Long. I thought that movie, I thought Accepted was like the funniest thing that had ever happened whenever it first came out. I watched it over and over and over again. The Southampton Institute of Technology. Isn't that what it was?
I think
their
newspaper
was the shit rag.
Justin Long, also very underrated actor. Very underrated.
That movie has nothing but underrated actors between Jonah Hill and Justin Long and Accepted.
Yeah.
Maybe one day that movie will be viewed as the piece of cinematic history that it deserves to be.
It absolutely should be.
More underrated. Accepted
More underrated.
Or Click?
I think Accepted at this point. I think Click at least has some recognition.
It's starting to get some of the recognition it deserves.
Yeah, Click is very good, though. I'm with you, Simon. I think we're the only two people that believe that.
I just think it's constantly slept on as an Adam Sandler movie.
Click I agree with you. It makes you think. It really does make you think.
And the fact that they made me think in a movie that like the entire premise begins in a Bed Bath and Beyond. You know what I mean?
With like, Adam Sandler.
It is like this huge just like corporate sponsor at the beginning of the movie with Adam Sandler and Christopher Walken. And it's just like, yep, this works.
I forgot Christopher Walken's in it.
He's in the Beyond, man. He's back there in the Beyond.
That's
Where
right.
else would he
You're
be?
absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And Squirrel Bob said, great movie, Accepted way better than Click. And Tommy said, Adam Sandler movies are not supposed to be thought-provoking. And maybe that's why it gets slept on constantly, is it's the wrong audience.
Perhaps, but it is good. It's good regardless.
John Luke, we're going to get into some predictions for this upcoming week 18 of the NFL season, right? Is what we got here. The final week of the NFL season. Just some different questions around the league, questions about players, questions about games. And we're going to start with this one. Will Jalen Hurts play this week, John Luke? Are we going to see Jalen Hurts out there on the field for the grand finale of this season?
That's a good question. I don't think we've got news either way, right?
No, but this is there's big implications for the Eagles and for the Cowboys this week. It looks iffy. It was iffy last week. So this is just a matter of they're 14-point favorites. Do you think they're going to put them out there to win this game to guarantee that one seed?
They did. He did have a limited practice. He logged a limited practice on Wednesday, which is positive news. I think we might see him in this game. Eagles still playing for something here, right? They're playing to lock up that first round bye. Yeah, for that first round bye. And so I think if they get ahead a good amount here, which is very likely, we'll probably see both Hurts and Minshew. But I think Hurts will play. I think I'm willing to make that prediction.
Yep, I'm going to say Jalen Hurts plays this week as well. It's too important getting that home field advantage and that bye throughout the entire playoffs. So if Jalen Hurts is possible to play, they're going to get him out there on the field.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Now, John Luke, the next one, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, about the playoff picture and these teams that are looking in. And what I want to know is which teams are going to make the playoffs of the ones that do not have it locked up. So let's start in the NFC. There's only one team that's going to make it out of the Seahawks, Lions, and Packers. And for a recap for everybody watching here that was not hanging around yesterday, this is how the scenario plays out. If the Seahawks win, the Seahawks are in, I believe. Right, JL? If the Seahawks win, the Seahawks are in. Now, if the Seahawks lose and the Lions win, then the Lions are in. If the Seahawks lose and the Packers win, then the Packers are in. And if the Seahawks win, then the Seahawks are in. So who's making it, JL?
I think the Seahawks need not only a win, but they also need
a Packers loss.
Packers loss. Is that right?
I think you're right. If the Seahawks win and the Packers win, the Packers are in.
Right. And so they need a Packers loss as well. I think this one could be anybody's pull here. Let's see. We got Seahawks playing the Rams this week, which I think is likely they'll win, and then Packers going against the Lions, which I think is a 50-50 toss-up, honestly. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the Lions. I'm gonna go with the Lions because I want it to be true, Simon.
So you're going to say the Lions win and the Seahawks lose, pushing the Lions through?
Yep.
I like it, JL. Lions for John Luke. And as much as I want to say the Lions, I'm going to go with the Packers. I think the Packers get it done. They beat the Lions. They make the playoffs, and Aaron Rodgers has a little run here in Green Bay before getting eliminated in the divisional round. So I'll take the Packers. You're taking the Lions. Now on the other side, JL, there's 2 spots left in the AFC. The Jaguars, Titans, Patriots, Dolphins, and Steelers are the teams that are still in the hunt here. The Jaguars, Titans are playing for that spot. They're playing each other. Winner gets in. Winner wins the division. If the Jaguars lose, they still have an outside chance at a wild card spot. And then the rest of these teams all fighting for that last wild card spot. Who do you think is going to make it? It's got to be one of the Jaguars or the Titans, and then another team.
I'm going to go Jaguars here. On that side, at least.
I'm with you. Double Jaguars.
Double Jaguars. And then from there, I think it could be the Dolphins. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Dolphins.
Dolphins for JL. I'm going to go Dolphins as well here. Jaguars and Dolphins, and maybe this is some wishful thinking. I don't think the Titans are making it in. I think the Dolphins beat the Patriots this week, potentially lining that up for them. And the Steelers could make it. You can never count out Mike Tomlin, but they need
Dolphins
some things to go their way.
By the way.
Jets, sorry. Dolphins will take care of the Jets. Who do the Patriots? That's the Bills game. That's right.
Patriots, Bills, yeah.
Patriots, Bills, Dolphins, Jets, all in division over there that week. And then the Jaguars playing the Titans to lock up that division.
You think we get Tua back?
I don't know. It's not looking likely, but if he's possible to play, again, this is an important game for them. They'll get him in there.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards I don't think that they get him in there. I think that we're going to see this this backup year for the Dolphins, which makes things a little interesting. If that's the case, are you as confident that it's going to be the Dolphins?
If Skylar Thompson is starting, is that what you're asking? Yeah, I'm a little less confident if Skylar Thompson's starting that it's going to be the Dolphins.
Would you switch your choice there? Or are you still going to take the Dolphins then?
I mean, wishful thinking, I still take the Dolphins, but I probably switch it to the Steelers. They're playing the Browns to finally get a winnable game, and then the Steelers sneak in. We get 3 AFC North teams in the playoffs.
Can the NFC borrow one of the AFC's wild card spots just for this year?
Did you say can the NFC borrow like just this last one? Like we put Jacksonville in, and then we just say sorry, Dolphins, Patriots, Steelers, and Titans. We're going to give it to the NFC.
We're going to give it to the Lions instead.
The Lions and the Seahawks will do a playoff game between the two of them, and whoever wins that game, either Geno Smith or Dan Campbell, gets to go to the playoffs.
Yeah,
it'll be such a shame if after this year we don't get Geno Smith or Dan Campbell in the playoffs. Like, give me one of the two.
We get freaking Aaron Rodgers. Again,
eating clay and eating some more clay.
I'm just imagining him like Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, I'm imagining him like you described me with Cheerios earlier, but he's just got little like a bucket of just like little clay nuggets, and he just like sticks his hand in.
Cheerios made out of clay.
Yeah, Cheerios, honey clay Cheerios,
honey clay Cheerios,
honey nut Clayos.
That one's much better. I like
honey nut cherry clays.
Cherry clays, yeah.
How many times clay nut Cheerios?
There you go.
Now you do one.
Honey clay nuts. Honey clay nuts. And that's it. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show.
Honey clay nuts.
Honey clay nuts.
Brought to you by Honey clay nuts. Not a sponsor and not a real cereal. And Dustin said clay nuts.
On both accounts.
Clay nuts.
Honey clay nuts.
Jail, what I want to know from you next is who is going to win the NFC East? Currently, the Eagles are in first place, but they're playing the Giants this week, potentially without Jalen Hurts, like we previously mentioned. The Cowboys playing the Commanders, all in division. If the Eagles lose and the Cowboys win, the Cowboys will win the NFC East. If the Eagles win, they win it. They lock it up.
I think the Eagles win. I think that's the most likely outcome here. The Eagles are good.
Does your answer
That's
change?
it. That's my answer. The Eagles are good. Even with Gardner Minshew, I know they've been having some tough games here, but they're going against the Giants. I don't expect the Giants to be able to stop the Eagles, even with Gardner Minshew.
I mean, the Giants have looked all right the past couple weeks, right? We've seen some mega offensive performances from them. 38 points against the Colts last week, 38-10, and that wasn't a bad defense.
Stop trying to change my
Daniel
mind.
Jones. I think I'm with you, Jail. I'm going the Eagles here, but the confidence level goes down if Gardner Minshew's the starter. He hasn't won either of his other two starts. I know they weren't necessarily easy matchups. Definitely not the one against the Cowboys, but man, this Giants team has shown they can get it done. They can get it done offensively. They can win games. It's not just like a rollover opponent in Week 18 to secure that number 1 seed. Now, that being said, they're potentially resting starters, right, is what's going on with the Giants. They've got that
14-point spread.
Yeah. They've got that 6 seed locked up. They're planning on resting their starters. Even with Gardner Minshew, you're probably right, JL. You're probably right that the Eagles most likely get it done. But we've seen crazier stuff happen in games this year. It's interesting that in Week 18, this Eagles team that has been so dominant all year is just one loss away from potentially not having that first-round bye. Having one bye in the playoffs is absurd what it does to like these end-of-season games.
Yeah. No, you're right, Simon. You are right, but I think they lock it up. That 14-point spread tells me Vegas is expecting it.
Yeah. I'll take the Eagles as winning the NFC East as well, JL.
Dustin in the chat said this is going to be a short for sure. Trying to call our clip process ahead of time.
Honey nut clay nuts. Honey clay nut nuts.
Honey clay nuts.
We have another prediction in here, JL, that I wanted to get your opinion on.
No.
Which team is most likely to play spoiler in the playoffs? So not one of these like division winning teams, not the Eagles, not the guys we're expecting to go far, but which team that's sneaking in here, maybe grabbing one of the wild cards or winning their division at the last second, do you expect to play spoiler in the playoffs?
I think the Lions will. I think Lions are most likely. I think maybe Lions is the chalk answer. Simon, what do you think?
No, I think I'm going to give the chalk answer. I think the Jaguars are going to play spoiler in the playoffs. I think the Jaguars are going to knock off a team or two.
In the playoffs, like once they're in?
Right, once they're in. Like a team that makes it and then plays spoiler, knocks a team out, ends Aaron Rodgers' season, ends Patrick Mahomes' season.
I thought you were saying a team that would play spoiler for one of these other teams going into the playoffs.
Oh, that's a reasonable thing to assume, but that is not what I meant.
I see. Okay. All right. Let me think about this for a second. So Jaguars make sense, Simon, because they're likely to get in. We both are predicting that they're going to be in the playoffs. Yeah. And I think they're good enough to actually knock off one of these teams. It's not like the Lions. It's it's wishful thinking a bit. Like I don't think the Lions can really come in and do that.
If they're going to win in the playoffs, the score is going to be like 57-55.
Right. It's going to be a crazy game. And I think that that's possible. I'm not saying that I don't have faith that the Lions could do that. It's just that I'm a little more confident the Jaguars come in and hold their own. They're a little bit more complete.
So you going Jaguars as well here?
With that being said.
Giants, maybe Ravens. Who you got?
I'm going to come in. I'm going to say, I don't know. Ravens is interesting because if Lamar comes back, they could absolutely play spoiler. I'll go Ravens.
Ravens. I don't mind the Ravens pick. And the Giants are the other team. Like we've seen them with some pretty big performances this year. They got that spot locked up. I feel like nobody's talking about them. And that just seems like the most Giants thing to do. To have no one talking about. You start the season hot, then drop out of contention, sneak into that playoffs, and then just go on a run. Like that's so Giants.
That's very Giants.
So Giants.
What if they?
You'd have a lot of very happy Giants fans.
That would be pretty crazy. Giants fans would be nuts.
Though, I feel like there'd be happy Giants fans, but then also I feel like it's the most cynical fan base in the NFL, like about themselves.
Oh,
They'd be
yeah.
like, they'd be like, God, now we're stuck with Daniel Jones for another 10 years. Like that would be the first thing they said after winning.
Worst thing that ever happened to this franchise.
The worst thing that ever happened to this franchise was winning the Super Bowl because now we're stuck with Daniel Jones. And fantasy
You're
now said,
very
do the
right.
Chargers count? I think the Chargers absolutely count as a spoiler team. I don't think people are talking about them as favorites, but they got all the pieces to make a nice little run here. Could you see them winning the Super Bowl this year?
I could see it. I think they're a good enough team. They could absolutely win the Super Bowl.
And Squirrel Bob said if Packers get in, they are crushing someone's hopes and dreams.
Probably. Yeah, Packers is a good one.
Absolutely
Packers is a really
crushing.
good one.
I do love the way, like out of all the different sports leagues, I love the way that the NFL does the seeding going into the second round of their bracket. Like it just makes a ton of sense where they reseed, where if you're the top seed, you still get the easiest matchup in the second round. Instead of if there's an upset, all of a sudden you're sitting there looking at a much tougher matchup in round 2 because the bracket didn't play out the way it was supposed to. Like it brings an element of chaos to like March Madness, right? Like whenever you have to play the 8 or 9 seed in the second round as the 1 seed. But
right.
I'm not looking for that chaos in the NFL playoffs. Just give me that one game of chaos. Anybody can win this game. We don't need to add just the element of like crazy matchups in the second round for these top seeded teams.
Right.
Tommy said Chargers versus Lions Super Bowl. Sign me up. I'd be down for that.
I'd be in heaven.
Justin Herbert versus Jared Goff.
Almost
Jared
revenge
Goff,
game.
Super Bowl MVP. What do you mean almost revenge game? Because it's the other LA team.
Yeah. That's exactly what I meant.
Revenge adjacent game.
Perpendicular revenge game.
Intercepting lines revenge game. Jared Goff. The revenge that almost was.
Did you say intercepting lions?
Lines, but I guess Lions works as well.
It's a really funny name for it.
A lion
Intercepting
segment.
lions. The Jared Goff story.
Jared Goff's career. The Lion segment.
Lion segment.
Get it? Like line segment?
Yeah, I get it.
You got it? Like
I got
from
it.
math?
Yeah, for math.
You've been to math before?
Once. Didn't
Well,
go
Dale,
well.
Maybe that'll help you with this question.
Hit me.
Which coaches are getting fired?
In general?
We've already seen Nathaniel Hackett get fired. We saw Matt Rule get fired earlier this year. Who else is getting fired this offseason or the end of this season?
Who else getting the boot? I'd hate to see it. I could see Cliff Kingsbury getting the boot.
That's the one that immediately came to mind for me.
Ron Rivera.
You think so?
I don't know. Can you fire him?
No, I don't think so. I think Riverboat Ron's going to stick around for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But Cliff Kingsbury was the one that jumped out to me as potentially.
I think that's a mistake if they do that.
You think so? You're a Cliff fan?
I'm a Cliff fan. Yeah, I think he's a smart dude.
I was excited when he came in, but I feel like I haven't seen a ton of promise, or a ton delivered on the promise of like this crazy air raid offense that he was going to bring in. Now I know there's been injuries, there's been issues at the quarterback position, but man, I don't know. Not seeing the results, Cliff. And if him and Kyler, if they have to decide between him and Kyler, it'll be interesting to see which way they go.
Yeah, I think another name that is much more reasonable is Arthur Smith of the Falcons.
So early into his career there, though.
I know, but what is he doing?
Yeah, I have no idea. Waiting to use Kyle Pitts until like week 47, just over and over again. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal. And they didn't make the playoffs. I feel like there's some other coaches that like could have been on the hot seat, but now they're sneaking into the playoffs. Like Brandon Staley, I feel like has been on the hot seat for like 5-6 years now, where I think it would be a mistake to fire Brandon Staley. I think he's a good coach.
I think he's good too.
But I feel like he was on the hot seat, but now the Chargers are sneaking into the playoffs. But we have seen coaches who made the playoffs get fired. Do you think if they have an early exit, there's a chance we still see Brandon Staley let go?
Yeah, I think so. And I also think it would be a mistake, Simon. I agree with you on that one.
They're scared of these analytics guys. Can't handle the numbers.
Yeah, whatever. It's an outcome based sport, right? People are always looking at just the results space, and that's not always the best way of reasoning. Josh McDaniel's another one. It's another name who I think could definitely be on the hot seats.
They got too much money invested in him. Like I just truly think they can't afford to. I'm with you, JL. I think they should. I think he's the one that maybe deserves it most out of every coach that should be fired coming up soon, but I don't think they can afford it.
It's fair, Simon. It's fair.
Dennis Allen with the Saints potentially could get let go. The goal was that he would just continue the offense the way that it had been running under Sean Payton, and that is not what we saw this year. So I think we could see him go. Yeah. And Kevin Stefanski of the Cleveland Browns is another one that we could see fired. I think this was a wildly disappointing season for the Browns based on their expectations. So he could be getting the boot.
It's possible, yeah. I do think that they like whatever they're doing there. I think they knew that this season was going to go somewhat this way. It might have even gone better in a lot of respects than what most of the people were expecting or what that front office was expecting without having Deshaun Watson for most of the season.
Jacoby Brissett. Shout out Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. Shout out Jacoby Brissett.
And Victor said Jacoby Brissett. Victor said, do the Texans keep Lovey, or does Lovey know he's getting fired after Sunday so he wins the last game of the season to make the Texans lose the #1 pick and help his former Bears?
That would be wild.
I'm here for it, Victor. Whatever theory you just cooked up, I'm here for it.
Yeah, we're 100% on board now, buddy.
He wins the game out of spite. That's a funny way to look at it.
For his former Bears.
I love the idea that he goes out there and he's like, okay, boys, we got to stick it to ownership. We are going to win the hell out of this game. Okay.
Come on.
The owners of this team don't want us to win, but we're going to do it. It's going to
suck for you next year, but we're going to do it.
You know, that quarterback of the future sitting up there at the top of the draft, forget about him. Gone.
Yeah.
Another team's drafting him.
Yeah. He's not going to help you guys at all.
But this is my personal vendetta, and we're going to do it for me.
And I'm
Lovey Smith. Head coach Lovey Smith.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
I'm coming. Me and Coach Prime.
Coach Prime.
I saw there was a documentary about him on Amazon Prime called Coach Prime. I have not watched it yet, though, but it came up under my recommended yesterday. So I might watch the documentary called Coach Prime about Coach Prime on Amazon Prime this weekend.
I think I was looking for the Thursday night football game last week, and I saw that exact same thing, Simon. I was like, ooh.
Looking for the Thursday night football game. I've never once had to look for it. It's always like it yells at me that there's football going on. Just
at the top of the prime. Yeah.
Right at the very top.
Maybe, you know what? We watched a lot of Jack Ryan this past weekend, which is also on Amazon Prime, because I saw there was a new Jack Ryan season when I was looking for the Amazon Prime Thursday night football game. So really, it's helped me keep up to date with the happenings on Amazon Prime.
Jack Ryan, what genre is it? Is it a TV?
You ever heard of Tom Clancy?
I think I've heard of Tom Clancy. Oh,
spy guy.
JL, I had to lie about reading a Jack Ryan book in college.
Really?
Yeah, I had for a signature for an interview in the engineering organization we were in order to get a signature, I had to read a Jack Ryan book and then have a discussion about it with a person. And all of a sudden it was time for the discussion, and I hadn't read a single page of the Jack Ryan book. So I just pulled up the synopsis and the cliff notes and tried to cram and get a couple really good talking points. And I knew this guy loved Jack Ryan. So I tried to find a controversial thing I could say about the book to get him going, and it worked. So if you're listening to this, who was that for? I can't even remember.
I didn't have to do that.
Joseph, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry I lied to you about reading.
100% lied.
About reading a Jack Ryan, Tom Clancy book.
It's also a John Krasinski TV show on Amazon Prime. Jim, yeah, from The Office. It's very good. We like it.
Check it out. Very good. I got so much to check out. I'm probably not going to check it out, JL. I'm going to be honest.
Listen, man, I don't want that. Out of all the things I wanted you to check out, that's really at the bottom of the list. So
what should I check out next of all the things to check out? I've been
kind
thinking
of tired
The Boys.
Because I just know it's not going to happen. So
it happens sometimes.
Every once in a while.
I checked out a new episode of House Hunters International yesterday.
That doesn't do anything for me. I did not suggest you watch that. That's something you did on your own.
Okay, well, let me try again in a little bit.
Okay.
Jell, do you think we see the Giants play their starters this week when it doesn't affect their playoff position?
Yeah, I don't think we see him play them the whole game. But I do think that there's that psychological aspect of it that these coaches, they don't want to come out and look like they're just fully fully sitting everybody. But I think that we don't see a lot of the starters.
I say no. I say we don't see the starters at all this week for the Giants. I think they're going to fully rest them and go into the playoffs healthy.
That's what I would do.
John Luke, one more for you. We're not going to know the answer to this one until next year. Actually, if the answer is not this, if the answer is no, we could know sooner. But is Malik Willis the starting quarterback for the Titans next year?
No. Papa Tannehill, I think, is there.
Daddy Ryan.
Isn't he there for another year?
I don't know if Pop Rai is going to be there for another year.
If Daddy Ryan.
Father Tannehill.
I just looked up Ryan Hill on Spotrac.
It's a different guy entirely, JL.
Ryan Hill. Potential out in 2023. But he is at least under contract. But they could get rid of him.
They can move on. And I think
for 18.8 dead cap.
Yeah. If they want to move on, they'll move on from him. But I think that really just comes down to if they think Mr. Malik Willis is ready or the starter for them next year. About Joshua Dobbs?
No, I don't think he's good enough.
You don't think he's good enough? He looked all right. He was making some decent throws out there in the start that he did get.
They were cracking me up. They kept panning to his parents that whole game, and his parents were just like,
"Here we are, the parents of Joshua Dobbs in the stands, watching Joshua Dobbs play football." Right. Sometimes they get obsessed with panning to certain people. Joshua Dobbs' parents, Jimmy G, just as a person, they seem to always put the camera on him.
Bill Belichick and his son.
Bill Belichick's son, they should leave a camera on at all times. They should just have a Steve cam. And I'm not even talking about like just during NFL games. Like if I'm
like the Truman Show.
Right. Like if I'm watching Survivor, I want a Steve Belichick cam in the bottom right-hand corner.
He's just playing Pokemon. He's like not even related to it. You just have a little like a nanny cam on Steve Belichick at all times. That's how he plays Pokemon.
100% that's how he plays Pokemon. I bet that's what he does when he goes home from work for sure. He's sitting on there and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you." Yeah. I imagine that's exactly what he sounds like too. I've never heard him talk, never want to hear him talk because I want to imagine that voice for myself.
Yeah.
Is he Waluigi all of a sudden?
Rhea and I have been playing a lot of Mario Party lately.
Leanne and I played some Mario Party yesterday, and she was like, I forgot how much I hate this game. Every time she's like, yeah, I want to play Mario Party. And then like 4 turns in, she's like, this is stupid. I'm losing everything. Everybody's stealing my stars. And this is the worst game ever created. And then she's like, okay, one more round.
One more round. Sometimes that game just stacks it against you. It's just like for no reason, you'll just be rolling ones for 15 minutes.
Yeah, we did the cake map where it's just a big circle that you go around.
I hate that one. That's the worst map.
We did the cake map, and I did 4 full laps around the map before Leanne was able to do one. And that's why
that one is brutal. That one sucks because the whole time you're just sitting there waiting, trying not to lose stuff. Like you're just trying to avoid losing things. The
protecting your assets. Tim said Leanne is right. That game is the worst game ever created. I watched Tim just about end a relationship over a game of Mario Party. It wasn't necessarily him ending it, but that was an uncomfortable moment sitting there with him and his girlfriend at the time playing Mario Party. And just tell you, they weren't as on good of terms by the time that game ended. Tim stole one too many stars from that girlfriend. She was not having it.
I don't blame him.
That game is brutal, though. It truly can get aggressive and violent, that game.
Yeah.
Guys, here on BSN, we've got a 2023 fantasy football draft that we've done already for next season. It is the way too early 2023 fantasy football draft. It features BSN hosts drafting the top players for next year. You can hear it on demand now on the BSN app with any of the subscription packages. And our friend Joey took part in that. Front Yard fan member, co-host of Pre-Gaming with FYF, was on that as well. John Luke, you enjoying your pretzels?
So good.
Do you like a soft pretzel or a hard pretzel better?
Soft pretzel, of course.
You like a cinnamon soft pretzel or a salt soft pretzel better?
Ooh. I love them both equally. I can't pick one.
You're right. They're different.
They're different.
Now,
I have them for different purposes, and they're both so good.
For the salt one, what do you want to dip it in? You get to dip it in one thing. What are you dipping it in?
Nothing, baby. All natural.
All natural. No mustard, no cheese, no nothing?
No nothing.
Oh, give me that beer cheese and mess me up. Now, the cinnamon one, what are you dipping it in?
Icing if they have it. They typically don't, though.
Icing if they have it. I'm with you, JL. Though, I have seen just like Nutella that people dip those cinnamon pretzels in. I haven't tried it, but I imagine that would be delicious.
Hey, where do you stand on cream cheese icing?
Delicious and a problem.
Okay, fair enough.
I love cream cheese. I
really
could not eat cream cheese.
Just
it
mess
is
you up.
Maybe the number one most disagreeable food for my stomach.
Really?
Like there's like nothing else I've eaten that disagrees with me as much as cream cheese does.
I had no idea.
But good God, is it so good?
I mean, I had somewhat of an idea.
It is so delicious, cream cheese.
Cream
JL,
cheese icing.
fine, I'll eat a whole tub of cream cheese today, and we'll see what happens.
Come on over. We'll get some jalapeno cream cheese and get some bagels.
Oh, jalapeno poppers stuffed with cream cheese. So delicious. Do you love a jalapeno popper?
I do. They're good. It's a little, sometimes it's a little too much cheese. I'm a light cream cheese guy. Like I don't want my bagel I don't want to bite through like an inch of cream cheese when I'm eating a bagel and cream cheese. You know what I mean?
I guess that's one way to do it.
It's kind of like biting into ice cream,
which is delicious. Guys, coming up, we're going to do a week 18 DFS build and then talk some fact or flash about players' last week performances. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
The Baltimore Ravens will win the AFC North 2023, baby.
Sophomore quarterback Cade Klubnik of the Clemson Tigers will come out and win the Heisman, leading Clemson to another national championship.
It's been a difficult time here in Boston for us Boston sports fans. We haven't had a parade in a couple of years, you know? So I think it's time for the Boston Bruins to bring it home.
I think the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes will win the Super Bowl.
I think the New York Mets are going to win the World Series in 2023.
People will remember just how good Shohei Ohtani is. Elite as a hitter, elite as a pitcher. He will win the MVP award like he should have in 2022.
I will go with a Super Bowl prediction. Give me San Francisco against Buffalo.
I think in 2023 is going to be the year of Luis Robert. That guy's uber talented. He had a very old school coach who I don't think he clicked with. He was hurt a lot. I don't know if he's going to go Judge. I think maybe he'll go Jordan Alvarez, but I think Luis Robert is going to be the guy next year.
The Boston Celtics will win the NBA championship in 2023.
The NBA to me is wide open this year. There are a few teams that can win the championship, but I am going to go with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Luka Doncic, like he deserves it, should win MVP in 2023.
UGA is inviting everybody to the Bulldog Invitational, and they're going to get a three-peat.
Tom Brady will not retire.
I think we're going to roll back to 1969, where one of the New York teams, whether it's Mets or Jets, wins a championship.
I am going to make a ton of money in 2023. That is my sports prediction.
I'm going to say the New York Metropolitans will make it to at least the NLCS.
2023, it will be Chase Dollander from the Tennessee Volunteers being the #1 overall pick to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
The Baylor Bears will cut down the Nets in early April and win the NCAA tournament.
Kyle McCord wins the Heisman for the Ohio State Buckeyes as he takes them through an undefeated season into the playoffs and wins a national championship.
A healthy Kawhi Leonard and Paul George lead the way as the Clippers make it to the NBA Finals.
Bijan Robinson will be the runaway #1 overall running back in fantasy football.
The Los Angeles Lakers come out of the grave and make the playoffs and actually win in the first round.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. It's in the game.
Auto game.
Woo!
Hey, Simon, we ever going to talk about that pig?
About what?
The pig, the animated pig on the transition video back in?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I think you're imagining a pig jail.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't see a pig. Did you see a pig?
No,
Who brought
I
up
didn't
the
see
pig?
It. No, I think you're. Are you
Dude,
seeing a pig on that?
Keith, stop bringing up the pig, man.
Because all I see is a hog, JL. There's no pigs on there. There's a hog on that screen is what we got. Yeah, I think that hog snuck out of Hogger and made its way over to our intro screen. We're going to try to sneak him back in the pen over there.
Hog.
And Dustin said, you mean Captain Tuddy, the Commanders mascot?
Yeah, Captain. I forgot that was the name they gave it. That's awful.
Captain Tuddy.
And they are, in fact, being sued, by the way, for that.
Oh, it's Major Tuddy. Sorry. Major Tuddy.
Would you say Minor Tuddy?
Captain Tuddy. No, I did not say Minor Tuddy.
Colonel Tuddy.
Why is Colonel spelled like that?
Why is Tuddy a thing? And why is Colonel spelled like that? It has no business being spelled like that.
Okay, let's hit your point first, because Tuddy is no easier to say than touchdown. In fact, I'd argue it's harder to say. Tuddy.
Yeah.
It just doesn't roll off the tongue. It also sounds worse. It just sounds gross. It doesn't sound nice. Tuddy. That sounds like something that you're served to eat that you would never want to eat. Oh, it's Tuddy for dinner again. Eeyore is so disappointed that he's having to eat Tuddy for dinner once again. It's gray mush that you get served on a plate in the forest. Tuddy.
Now moving on to your point, Colonel. What happened with that?
Me? The only part that makes sense is the NEL.
Yeah, everything else. Well, why is there an L in there then?
Where's the R?
Where's the R?
Where's the R?
How did you get from A to B, guy?
Mustard and Sanders, I need you to answer immediately.
Yeah, come on.
Who's more at fault, Mustard or Sanders? Colonel Mustard or Colonel Sanders?
Who's Colonel Mustard?
From the game Clue, JL?
Oh, I've never played that game.
What? You've never played Clue?
No, Maria tried to teach me one time and I couldn't figure out the rules, so I gave up.
It is a very simple game to play. I will say I'm very bad at it, though. Leanne, so good at it. I get confused immediately and then lose track and it just becomes a guessing game for me because there's all sorts of deductive reasoning, but you miss one thing, one person asking one question, and all of a sudden you're just guessing.
I feel like I would like it.
Dustin said couldn't figure out the rules. We've got Bob's Burgers Clue. We'll play some Bob's Burgers Clue whenever you visit jail.
Okay, that sounds good. Next month. Victor said Simon has a point. Colonel has no business being spelled like that.
Come on.
That's what I'm saying.
It's preposterous. Imagine learning English. You don't speak it already, right? And you're learning all the letters and all the sounds they make, and then they throw that word in front of you. That's absurd and ridiculous.
Colonel.
Colonel.
It's pronounced Colonel.
Colonel.
Okay. Whatever
pronounced
you say.
Colonel, we're good to go. And this word that's very clearly luncheon, don't say Leo.
Luncheon. That sounds like an Eevee evolution.
Luncheon. It's the food type.
It's a food type.
Food type Pokemon. John Luke, we're going to get into making a FanDuel lineup for this Week 18 main slate. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our main slate here. And we got no Coop today, so We get to pick our own tight end, JL.
Boys are back in town. That's what that means.
That means we get to pick the tight end all by ourselves. And I think that's where we start. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. Travis Kelce. So we spend big because Papa Coop isn't home.
Travis Kelce is not available on this list, John.
Probably not playing. No,
not available.
Or they just don't have him on air.
And I think it's because they're playing on Saturday. This is just the Sunday games that are listed on here. The
that
Sunday
makes sense.
slate. So that would be why he's not available. George Kittle going against the Arizona Cardinals. I am so tempted to spend up for arguably the best matchup with one of the best tight ends in the final week of the season.
Brock Purdy, who's like not going to be cute with it.
The only thing is, the good news is they can still get that 1 seed, right? If the Eagles and the Cowboys lose, the 49ers can still sneak up there and grab that 1 seed. So they're not playing for anything in this game.
Let's do it. Let's throw them in there.
Get George Kittle in there, spend up at the tight end position. We never spend up at tight end, I feel like.
Let's see where this build takes us, Let's see what path we go down.
Let's live a little. Also, Victor said Tyler Higbee price. The Seahawks are bad at covering the tight ends as well.
600.
So that is saving quite a bit. We can keep that in our back pocket if we need to save 2K down the line. But I also don't want to put Tyler Higbee in our lineup. But it is a great matchup, so I'd be more comfortable with it if we needed to. Baker likes him, it seems like. Baker seems to like Tyler Higbee.
I don't know why I had an overwhelming urge to do a baby voice there.
For Baker or for Tyler Higbee?
For Baker.
Baker likes Tyler Higbee.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Baker loves Higbee.
I wore my Baker Mayfield shirt yesterday. I feel like finally, now that he's like playing well on a team, like it's like I'm happy that he's doing well. And even though they're Browns shirts, they're Baker Mayfield shirts first, so I'm wearing them happily.
They're Baker May. How do you determine the priority?
The size of the words. There's a giant picture of Baker Mayfield on it, and it says Mayfield
and then
Baker.
There's just like Browns in the background.
Yeah, it's like Browns colors, or there's the dogs from the dog pound or something as well. But it's a Baker Mayfield Brown shirt.
You can spin all that. You could just say it's like fall. It's just the fall. It's a Baker Mayfield fall shirt.
It's from the Baker Mayfield Thanksgiving collection.
Collab with dogs.
Collab with the National Dog Show to raise money for animals and shelters.
It's a Thanksgiving dog show Baker Mayfield shirt.
Exactly. That's all it is.
We nailed it.
And then the one that says Cleveland Rocks in giant letters is actually talking about Cleveland, Georgia. Not Cleveland, Ohio. The small town of Cleveland, Georgia.
Where they hold that contest about the dogs, I think.
To see which one rocks the most.
Yep.
It's a battle of the bands, but for dogs.
Cleveland rocks.
Cleveland rocks. Jill, one morning I woke up in San Antonio and it's like 6 a.m. and I hear unbelievably loud, like rock and roll music coming from outside. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And like, I look out the window, but I can't see anything. So I like walk out the door and I peek around the corner. There's a full stage set up. And apparently they do something called the Rock and Roll Marathon, where they do a full marathon and they've got like 10 different stages set up. And of course, my stage, like the stage near my old apartment here, was set up 2 blocks from my house. And they started a full-on rock band on the stage at like 6 o'clock in the morning for these people running a marathon.
I would be so just confused if I
that's
woke up
exactly. I was like,
6 a.m. What?
One, you guys should not be running that much this early in the morning. Like the whole premise of a marathon flawed from the start. And then there's a rock concert. There's a stage. Where did the stage come from? It wasn't there when I went to bed.
How long have they been out there?
You just built it in the dark. Like it was still dark. Like I walked by that spot during the night. Like it wasn't up.
And it was still night when you woke up.
And it was still night when I woke up. Rock and Roll Marathon, count me out.
So we got a Baker Claynut Field.
Don't say Baker Claynut Field. It's not allowed.
Claynut. All right. What's the next thing we got to pick?
Well, anything. The oyster is ours.
The oyster is ours. How about any interest in Brandon Ayuk?
You could
7,100.
It could interest me. That is a bit high for a receiver if we're do we want to bank on him and George Kittle both eating in that same
That's
offense
fair.
against the Cardinals?
Should probably pick someone on a different team.
A game that I'm looking at, JL, is that Lions-Packers game. We know they're playing for something. The Lions, even if it's just to play spoiler maker to the Packers, is playing for something. I kind of want to target some pieces from that game.
Okay.
They got something to do. What do you like from that game?
The Packers-Lions one?
Yeah. Which quarterback do you like better? Do you like Jared Goff or do you like Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers sitting at 7,100, Jared Goff at 7,200.
All right, I think I'd rather have Goff
for 100 more.
I think so. What about you? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I like rolling Goff out there. I think it's a good matchup for him. Not as good as the Rodgers matchup on the other side.
Maybe we should go Rodgers then. Let's go Rodgers.
Got something to play for. I have a hard time counting Aaron Rodgers out in like a win to get in kind of game. You know what I mean? I feel like I've been manifesting it all week, even though that's not what I want to happen. It just feels like that's what's going to happen.
They're close enough in this matchup. Like, I'd rather save the $100.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then we probably want to get one of his receiving options in there with him as well, right?
Yeah, probably do. Yeah.
Do we want to go with Christian Watson, or do we want to maybe go a little bit cheaper and see if we can get somebody cheaper in there? Let's see what
he's got that connection with Watson, which is nice. Like, that makes me want to go Watson. It feels like he's been leaning on that.
Yeah, and Watson did get a limited practice in Wednesday, so good signs that he's going to be playing this weekend. It's a great matchup for wide receivers. The next
Lazard 6,400.
Yeah, Lazard's at 6,400. Dobbs is at 5,600. Randall Cobb at 5,200. That's probably the lowest we'd even consider going. But
you might want to throw like a Dobbs or a Cobb in there. A Dobbs or a Cobb.
I kind of want to just get Watson in there. Let's
just do Watson.
It's a must-win game. He's been his touchdown guy over the back half of the season, and if he's healthy, I think the Rodgers to Watson connection is going to be what wins and gets them into the playoffs.
Yeah, let's go Watson.
I feel scratched. So we might need to get cute with some of our like flex picks here, JL, or some of our other picks, because so far I think we got to kind of scratch lineup so far. Chalk.
Mike Evans. It's probably a deal last week.
Yeah, probably a deal last week. But do we want to chase those points? And who do the Bucks? Who do the Bucks have? They got the Falcons, but they've already got the division locked up as well. Know what I mean? Like the Bucks have that division locked up, and they're not advancing their seed too much.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
I don't hate it though. I mean, but the thing is, there's a lot. Like we're gonna have to pick players from some of these like grosser games probably, because there's a lot of them.
What about Amari Cooper? Amari Cooper going against Pittsburgh. It's a solid matchup, 7,600. And is Cleveland playing? No, Cleveland's not playing for anything.
But they are playing in division with a chance to knock their division rival out of playoff contention.
Steelers,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A win over the Steelers knocks the Steelers out of the playoffs. And I think the Browns wouldn't mind knocking the Steelers out of the playoffs, guaranteeing they don't get in. I like the Amari Cooper play, and he's been quietly great. It was a rough start whenever Deshaun Watson first came back, but I feel like they're starting to click, starting to get in rhythm here. We can throw Amari Cooper in there. How much is he, JL?
7,600. So he's not cheap.
Yeah,
you could have cheap. Chris Godwin. Could have Mike Williams going against Denver. DJ Moore going against New Orleans. Michael Pittman. Jalen Waddle. All cheaper. DK Metcalf.
Yeah, I'm trying.
DK Metcalf at 7,200 might not be bad.
Going against the Rams in a must-win game for them. I don't mind it, JL.
All right, let's throw DK Metcalf in there.
DK Metcalf. How many dollars?
72.
I got Amari Cooper and DK Metcalf in there right now, JL. If we need to save some money, we can move it. But we got 5,900 remaining per player. You want to get a defense in there, one that we like but maybe don't love. See if we can save some money on a defense, and then that'll give us a better idea of how much money we got left.
Yeah, let's do
going through the rest of it. So I like to scroll to the bottom. The Bears playing Minnesota. No, thank you. Trying to look at some of these other ones that maybe we get some decent from. The Lions against the Packers. Not a big fan there. The Dolphins against the Jets are an option down there at 3,500 as a way to save some money.
The Dolphins going against the Jets. Yeah. That could be decent. What about the Bengals? They're 4,400.
The Bengals going up against Baltimore. So you like them to
Oh,
beat
what did I say?
Baltimore
The
this week?
Jets?
The Bengals got Baltimore this week. I think I'm going to pass on them playing Baltimore. I think they get it together. The Colts have Houston, which is another option, and then the Chargers have the Denver Broncos at 4,100. I don't mind the Chargers.
I like the Chargers.
You know what? I think that's where I'm leaning as well, Jail. They've been kind of peaking at the right time defensively. We save a little bit of money, and that gives us an average of 6,500 remaining per player. We need 2 running backs and a flex now.
Pat in here said, pay for the Patriots defense. Patriots defense going against Buffalo this week. They're at 4,000, so not too much of a pay here.
I don't know. I don't like the Patriots this week. I think I'd roll with the Chargers going against that Broncos offense over the Pats D going against the Bills. What about you?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Oh man, I'm looking at the running backs now. Now it's just like I want Austin Eckler. I want Christian McCaffrey, but we got to save a little bit of money probably.
We have 19,500 left.
We can probably spend up on a running back, but not like the top of the top, and then maybe try to get cute and save a little bit on another one. Any that jump out at you, Jail? We've got some big names with good matchups. Dalvin Cook going against Chicago is a great matchup for him. Christian McCaffrey going up against Arizona is a great matchup for him as well. We've got Cam Akers against the Seattle Seahawks as a pretty good matchup too, though we started seeing him maybe lose some of his work in that offense.
Yeah.
Najee Harris against Cleveland. Double down on that Steelers game right there. Take a piece on the other side.
Najee Harris. Yeah, what's Najee Harris's price looking like?
7,200 is what we got for Najee Harris. You know what? That still leaves us with enough money. I think we roll that out there. You like Najee Harris? The Cleveland matchup is a beautiful one for opposing running backs.
Yeah, let's go Najee Harris here, and then we can go DeAndre Swift or Jamal Williams. Could be interesting. I know we said we want pieces of that game.
They're relatively the same price, 170, 100, 7,000. Which one do you prefer, JL?
I think Swift.
Yeah, I also prefer Swift. I think he's going to get more work. This is a must-win game. So I got Swift in there. So that leaves us with 5,200 to jail for our flex if we don't change anything else. Let's see if there's any players that spark some joy. Marie Kondo sparked some joy down there at the 5,200 mark. Elijah Moore.
Chase those points.
Yeah, there's some players down here actually that I don't mind putting in there. Kenneth Gainwell, not a bad play.
Let's go for a big upside guy. Khalif Raymond.
Khalif Raymond's got some decent upside. Randall Cobb. We could get another piece from that Detroit Green Bay game. Say he's going to catch a touchdown.
I actually like that pick a lot.
I think that's as soon as I said it, I was scrolling through and I was like, ooh, I think if we can.
I like that pick a lot, Simon.
Double down on this game that we think is going to be the highest scoring game of the week. Like, I think that's probably our favorite game to target here. We add Randall Cobb in there. And then here's our lineup. We got Aaron Rodgers at quarterback stacked with Christian Watson and Randall Cobb. Najee Harris at running back along with DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift from that same Detroit Green Bay game. Our other wide receivers, we've got Amari Cooper and DK Metcalf to pair with Christian Watson and Randall Cobb that we mentioned earlier. Then we got George Kittle at tight end in the Los Angeles Chargers defense.
That's solid. That is a solid lineup.
You feeling all right about it, Jay-O?
I am feeling all right.
I'm going to make sure I get this saved because I actually feel pretty good about this lineup we put together. And we'll see if we tight ended good this week without Coop. I think we did. George Kittle against Arizona. That's kind of a cheat code for picking a tight end, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Makes it a little bit easier. Well,
Tommy
JL,
said Luncheon.
Luncheon. That's going to be the name of all of my teams next year.
The Luncheon.
The Devin Faluncheons.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, just right off the dome. Devin Faluncheon. I choose you.
Luncheon.
John Luke, I did have to show you some of these things that I got for Christmas. I got this Pokeball full of all these little Pokemon guys for Christmas, but none of them are the right color. Every single one of them is just a little bit wrong. So here's Regirock, but he's orange. This is Snivy, but all the other colors are gone besides just the eye on there.
Okay.
This Fearow is purple and blue and dark brown for some reason. Just entirely wrong colors. And then this guy's head is ruined. I don't know if you can see his head.
What is that?
Not sure. It might be Godzilla, it might be Aggron. But it's just a little bit off. So these off-brand Pokemon have been bringing so much joy to me. They're just a little bit wrong, and I love that about them.
Dude, what do you think Jamal Williams would say about those Pokemon?
He'd call these are Pokemon, is what these are.
These are definitely Pokemon.
These are Pokemon, not Pokemon that we got right there.
Why did all the parents say Pokemon all the time growing up?
I don't know. It's the same reason why they say Quizmos and why they say all the other stuff. Chipotle. I can't even say it wrong. And Victor said, Simon, are you into collecting Pokemon cards too? Like Jamal Williams? Sometimes. I got where's my cool Pokemon card thing, JL? Did you lose it?
I took it.
Where'd you put it? Oh no, it's gone forever.
I like that Clemson pillow, Simon.
Thanks. Here's the most recent thing I've been collecting. I need to catch up on them, but look how giant these Pokemon cards are.
Oh, those are huge. Those are comically huge.
Sick, right?
Why do you have such big Pokemon cards?
Because I saw them at the store and I thought I got to get the giant Pokemon cards. So it comes.
That's hilarious.
There's like a whole collection of like the starters that came out, but I'm behind on collecting them. So I got to get some of the more recent ones that come out.
I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to go to Target.
My head.
I'm going to Target in the next day or two, and I think I'm going to have to buy some Pokemon cards because I'm just like so hyped for the game right now.
Joe, let's do it. Let's go buy Pokemon cards and then let's open them on camera.
Yeah. I think that's basically Nando's whole show.
That was also, I checked my mail yesterday for the first time in a little while. It had been a minute.
Did he send you something?
It had been a minute since I checked my mail, and I got it
I
out.
looked at my mail. I didn't see anything.
And in my mail.
My mail's scary, though.
From Corey, Nando, Jared, Adam, and friends, and Steve Wilkes. From everyone over at Corey, Nando, and friends, I was sent a
Winnie the Pooper
condition Winnie the Pooper card from Corey, Nando, and friends. So shout out to
what kind of envelope did it come in?
What'd you say?
Actually, I'll ask you after. I'll ask you after the show.
It came in an envelope, just a run on the mail envelope that you.
My mail's a mess. I can't find anything in there, or he just didn't send me one.
One time, I got sent a new mail key in my mailbox, and I couldn't find my old mail key. And then I also got sent my new license plate, which then got put into the mailbox. And I couldn't find the mail key because the new one was in the mailbox. I didn't. I just had to order a new license plate, and we didn't check our mail for about 7 months. Whenever I finally put on a jacket that I had not worn in forever, reached into the pocket, and there was the mail key.
That's insane.
Yeah, just a classic mail key story. You know, we all love a good mail key story. Mail key sounds a little bit too much like milky. So Jay said, I'm just waiting for Simon to shout, I choose you, and throw that Pokeball against the wall. If you think I haven't been running around the house pretending like I'm going to catch my girlfriend with a Pokeball, then you're insane. It's not funny. Apparently, it wasn't funny the first time, and it's not funny the 10th time whenever you pretend.
It's hilarious every time.
People don't like having things pretended to be thrown at them, or for you to hide behind corners and jump out and scare them like you're a Pokemon trainer that's going to surprise them in the wild. They're not fans of that, JL.
I didn't know that, Simon.
They're not big fans. John Luke, with this lineup that we put together, I did want to ask you a little bit about some of these pieces in Green Bay. So these secondary receiving options, Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs, they're rookie wide receivers. How are you looking at these players in Dynasty? Christian Watson, I think it's pretty apparent that he is probably like the guy that everyone's excited about. But do you have any excitement for Romeo Doubs as well? Any reason to try to acquire him?
Yeah, I think there is a reason. We haven't seen Aaron Rodgers really connect with rookie wide receiver in a while. It's been a long time. To see him connect with Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs in the same season is promising. Now it remains to be seen whether Aaron Rodgers will be there next season, if he plans to continue playing. All these fun questions we get with Aaron Rodgers every single time the attention spotlight is not on him. So I think it's possible that these guys also, their value drops. If Aaron Rodgers moves, I can't imagine they retain as much value in Dynasty long term. Do you think so, Simon?
No, if Aaron Rodgers moves, I think it definitely drops both of them. Now, it may not be a negative depending on who they get in there at quarterback, right? Maybe they get someone in who has a connection with Romeo Dobbs, with Christian Watson. Maybe Jimmy Garoppolo comes in. Maybe Derek Carr comes in and has a connection with one of these guys. No, then it's a definite negative for both of these guys. Their next quarterback will not be better than Aaron Rodgers. That's for sure. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks, arguably the best quarterback in the NFL, right? But maybe they have a connection. Maybe Romeo Dobbs has a connection with whoever the new quarterback that comes in is. It's got to be a net negative, though. It's got to be a net negative for both of these guys if he leaves. Yeah, Watson's value, I think, is a little bit more secure.
I think you're right about that.
Just based on what he's done so far.
Yeah.
Do you think Rodgers will leave? Are you expecting him to be on the Packers next season?
I think it's 50-50. I think he thinks he's playing a lot of different games in his head. But at the end of the day, he's just not. It's just like he's just gonna go based off what he feels is his whim.
What games do you think he thinks he's playing?
Battleship.
Frogger.
Chess.
Chutes and Ladders.
Red Rover.
Othello.
Civilization 5.
Who? Me? You know that one?
Guess Who?
I've never heard of the game Who Me. I was thinking of Guess Who. Is exactly. I think Who Me is a much better name for it.
You said Who Me?
No, Who Me? That's from Who Stole the Cookies from the Cookies.
Who Me?
Me? Yes.
Couldn't be.
Couldn't be. Guess Who? That's not what it's supposed to say, but that's where it came from. Victor said, if you guys do open Pokemon cards, let us know what you guys pull on the collector with my nephew. We're doing it.
I'm going to go buy Pokemon cards, hopefully later today, and then we're going to open them tomorrow on the show.
Let's do it. On the show?
On the show, yeah, why not?
You know, Jay, I think I've told this on stream before, but my first ever YouTube channel was a Pokemon card opening channel.
You did, yeah.
I got way too deep into it. I was like trading with people, built up a nice little following, and was opening cards on camera where like, there's also tricks with the packs where like a certain number of cards back is always the rare. So like you shuffle them and put that one all the way in the back so that as you reveal, that one comes up at the end. I'll get some flashbacks. Just don't let me get lost in there again, Jay. Okay. Don't let me get lost.
I make no promises. We get lost in the sauce.
I get really into hobbies.
I know.
I mean, as you can tell, look, here I am. This was just a hobby at one point, JL. Don't let me get back in there on Pokemon cards.
Dustin said, when I set up my little studio, my 9-year-old asked if he could do pack openings. Dude, you should have dropped the link.
It's a lucrative business. It's what you got to get into. I used to say cringy things like, "Oh, I really like the art on this one." As I'm like, dude, like it wasn't me at all. Like I would go back and watch the videos, and it was just like me playing some character that I was not opening these Pokemon cards.
That's like, really fun.
Really great art on this one. Oh wow. Really happy.
Look at the flourish. Wow, the technique.
Rhyhorn. Another Rhyhorn. That's all right.
Rhyhorn.
Maybe the next pack.
Did you talk like David Attenborough too?
Yeah, it was very subdued. Also, Dustin said we need a link to Simon's pack opening videos. I think, unfortunately, truly, I regret it. I think they've been wiped from the internet in their entirety. Good luck finding. I've tried finding them because now I have no shame. But whenever I decided to stop doing that channel, I immediately felt shame and deleted all of them. Just got it out of the way. I was afraid that I wouldn't be cool.
You made that decision.
Wouldn't be cool with the pack opening vids in high school if they got found out. But you know what? Here's the life lesson. Who cares?
Think about how big you would have been if you would have kept with it.
I wasn't very big. I was pretty small. Oh, not size-wise, but channel-wise.
But also size-wise. Money buys you lots of things.
I could have grown even more.
Yeah.
No, I was a solid 5'2" when I had that YouTube channel.
Yeah, so see, much bigger now.
I am much bigger now. You're right. And really, that was really only after 10 months of doing that channel. And I grew 8 inches.
Consistency.
It's incredible. Jail, if you had to have a YouTube channel of opening packs of something, what would it be?
I have to be opening something?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, easily. This would be MacBook. Any sort of new MacBook Pro.
Like
Apple items.
You're an Apple item unboxer?
Apple unboxer. Oh, yeah. That's like sex.
Give me your best Apple Boxer intro video. Like, just like the intro for the video. Like, hey, it's John Luke from AppleGeek.com here to review the new Apple Pencil.
Whoa. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to my channel.
Why do they always go so hard? It'll be a video with like this guy just like talking, like it'll be like, whoa, boom, 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 boom.
Then there's clips of him like,
hey guys, it's Ted here to review the new Apple Pencil. Like, but it'll be right after
really
like
got
the
nice
heaviest
torque and rotation.
dubstep D&B intro with flashing lights and mega words and flames, and then it'll be like the meekest little guy coming in like, what's up guys, it's me here to talk about the new Pokemon cards.
I don't know, that's a good question.
We got to get maybe that's the problem, Dale, is our intro needs to be even harder. It needs harder. It needs strobe lights, it needs aggressiveness.
I can work on that. I can work on strobe lights. I can work on aggressiveness.
In studio though. I'm not talking on the video. I'm talking whenever we come in and we need like every morning. Can you imagine 6 a.m. for me?
Straight
6 a.m. is when that show starts.
Machine right in our face.
Exactly. It cuts off and then all of a sudden there's just fog and like lights going everywhere.
Confetti. It was just like really overdone every single morning.
Okay, we'll work on that. We can get that.
We'll get that going.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the show is about to begin.
And it goes on for 7 minutes.
It's entirely too long.
We're trying to talk over it, but you cannot hear anything, and we just keep getting like blasted by the fog machine directly in the mouth as we turn our head. you turn your head, fog machine just
right near into your mouth. This is the first intro of the show, is you just letting out a giant vape cloud of fog.
The fire alarm starts going off inside the house, and you're just fist pumping over here.
Are woken up immediately.
We're absolutely killing it. I'm gonna try to find a link to those videos, Jail.
Oh yeah,
the videos of me opening Pokemon cards. I'll see if I can find them, and if I can, guys, I will procure them and put them out on Twitter for everybody's enjoyment. Because
we will watch them on the show.
They are embarrassing. They are we're going to just put it out there. They're pretty embarrassing videos that I made in high school.
What if we also had firecrackers going off during the whole intro thing? Like you just let off like an M80. Boom, 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 boom.
You get the mortars, but you don't throw them in a tube. You just light it and throw it behind you, and it's just a full firework going off behind you.
Welcome to Fantasy Football Jackass, which was an idea we were going to do at one point.
I still have it written in Notion with some ideas in there, JL. So maybe we do Fantasy Football Jackass one of these days.
Yeah.
One of my favorite subgenres of videos around holidays is the inevitable places that accidentally set off their entire fireworks show in one go. It happens. It happens every year. Or there's at least one place like where, oops, that was supposed to be 18 minutes. Guys, go look up some fireworks exploding videos to watch those. And I want to thank everyone for coming in and hanging out with us this morning. We'll be back tomorrow morning from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time for some more of the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. And Coop will be back joining us tomorrow morning as well. Until then, though, we are going to say goodbye for the rest of today, everybody. Enjoy your Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Adios.